My apologies for the shockingly late time. Holy cannoli. Actually, I have no real excuse. I was honestly just smoking a joint and I just kind of lost track of time. Let me mute myself while D does that thing he does. Go for it, bud.
Hola, señores and señoritas. Welcome to the show. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You have to be 21 to be here. If not, you have to vamanos. De
That's right.
nada. That's you, senor.
That's exactly the way it is. Ladies and germs. Oh, here it is. Finally, it's working. All right, boom. Well, sorry about the echo there. Dang it. Stop. All right, there we go. Ladies and geraniums, I'm finally logged into the right account, so I can probably pin the link and all that kind of stuff and jazz. So here it'll be in just a second. Join the show, ladies and germs. This is channel 2 of the gigantic, extensive, magnificent, what do they call it? Fumidoro the Great? No, that's a little bit exaggerating. The magnificent Fumidoro Network. I'm obviously fucking joking. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is channel 2. Channel 1, of course, is Fumidor and the Flavors. If you guys are not subscribed, thank you for the fanfare, much as it is undeserved, D. But thank you, and nonetheless. Fumidor and the Flavors, ladies and gentlemen, that's the main channel. Thankfully, it has not been taken down for a little while, so knock on wood, it'll still be up for a while. And of course, this is channel 2, Fumidoro, if you didn't know where you were. Good
Um,
morning. Welcome back from the amnesia and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, if you're watching YouTube. It's a video channel. And this is Fumidoro, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen. J5 is first in the chat, so you get to know that too, right out of coming out of dementia or amnesia or whatever it is that you just came out of. A concussion, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe you're a professional wrestler watching this and just got woken up from a concussion. I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy story I just made up for you. Anyway, however you find yourself here, thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video if you actually do like the video. If you don't like the video, I guess don't do that. But in the meantime, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the two other channels, ladies and gentlemen, that D is also showing you right there. Dank Culture Collective. That's where I hope to bring forth my. You're not gonna be surprised there. Well, you will be surprised maybe, but here's the diminishment of your surprise. There's no videos on that channel yet. I hope to put some videos up there soon, maybe even do some live streams and stuff. But basically, I'm hoping to do that for my tasting group. Basically, hopefully, that's going to be the name of the tasting group. That's the website I've reserved and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, in the very near future, actually, I can bring that back. I'm going to harvest here in the near future. And I don't know, one of these guys, I feel like you always have to get your hands dirty if you're telling other people to do something. So if I want other people to put their weed on the line, so to speak, I have to do the same thing with my weed. I can't sit there and pretend my weed is better or some shit. I have to actually put my weed into the fray like everybody. So anyway, going to harvest soon, so hopefully that will work out. And of course, nothing's ever for sure, right? You always there could be a massive flood in the freaking garden area or something. You never know. So never count your freaking chickens before they're hatched, or your eggs before you're hatched. I can't remember how that goes. Anyway, but hopefully the tasting group is coming back very soon, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your eyes, ears peeled or whatever. Eyes peeled. I can't remember how any of the fucking expressions go today. But in the meantime, pay attention because hopefully we'll be coming back. Obviously, mostly in the Northwest, but I have been requested many times or have gotten requests many times to go around the country, for example. So I don't know. We'll see. If you guys are still interested in doing things around, I don't know, wherever, different parts of the country, doing a tasting group, please let me know because it could be super fun to do. What was I going to say? Yeah, I guess that's it. Welcome to D. Go for it, buddy. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Fumidor. Like always, thanks, Fumi, for doing this shows and putting all this together because it's a hassle. I
Welcome, man.
know. I'm smoking on. Oh shit. No, that's not what I'm smoking on. I am smoking on. This is D. What am I smoking? What are we smoking on? Oh, see, Mrs. D forgets. But yeah, we'll let you know in a minute. Keep thinking. I hope everybody's having a great day. Um, don't forget to check me out on Instagram. I'm of course D underscore zombie underscore on Instagram, and you can find me on YouTube at GG Live at G zombie underscore 745. I hope everyone's having a great day. Cheers. Oh, and we're
Seriously.
smoking what? McFlurry.
McFlurry. It's kind of like McPoyle, but better.
Oh,
What's going on, hardcore?
Micro machines.
Might not be
Just
what's
having a
going on.
cigarette break.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
What's the good word? Or is there one?
Just got some beans in the mail.
Oh, right on. What'd you get?
Sweet.
Some stuff from Green Fingers.
That's
Oh,
cool.
nice.
I mean, consultant seeds.
Yes, Colton.
Salton sea. Did you know that Salton sea like smells terribly? A friend of mine was asking about it the other day, and she was like, so we should go there, right? And I was like, do you know that it smells? It's kind of a badge of pride for people who live there. Like like Green Fingers is not going to get insulted if you kind of make fun of him. He's gonna be like, yeah, 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 I know. Oh no, you don't even know how it's like a badge of pride, like a badge of honor that they stand up to that rank aroma.
Brings out the terps.
Yep, yep. It's kind of amusing, honestly. It's basically like a dying lake. Um, oh, now I'm forgetting the story. I think it was, I guess we could look this up. It was an artificial lake that was, I think, a byproduct of, oh my God, I don't want to make this up. I don't want to fuck this up. Byproduct of industrial waste. All right, I might be fucking this up right now. Hold on. We should look this up. It is very amusing. Green Fingers, if you're out there, hop on here and tell us the story of the
We speak your
Salton
name.
Sea.
We speak your name.
That's it. Can we summon him if we say it enough times? Green Fingers, Green Fingers. What did he send you?
Yeah, good question.
I'll let you know in a second.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
I'm sure, of course, it's not going to disappoint. I've heard good
He
things about
was
salt.
working with what was it? Not the Banana Daddy, something or other, banana something or other he got from Bud. Remember, Bud got a accidental happy pollination. I think he had a really nice mail from that. Cheers,
Banana
Coffee Pot.
Daddy.
Good to see
Some
you.
Mendo Breath by Banana God.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Oh,
Nice
there we
combo.
go. No, 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 I just
Not
wait.
sure if I've got. I know I've got a cross with that.
Cat. Where?
Going to be dabbing now some papaya from Bonsai. Great, great packaging. Really, really aromatic, incredibly flavorful, and just the aromas are on point. Super, super tropical. Passion fruit. Uh,
There.
I mean, papaya too, but kind of more of that passion fruit, tropical, maybe a little bit of pineapple in it. Anyway, super, super nice. Not a whole lot of high from it, honestly,
Wow.
but very, very flavorful. There it is.
Oh,
Oh, Eritrean.
This one is Extreme Cream. Cream by Mendo Breath by Banana God.
Oh, extreme cream. I'm sorry. I thought it said Eritrean. I was like, the fuck is that?
Anatema. I think that is.
Mhm.
And then Mendo Breath by Banana God.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. And there's a
Super
couple
nice.
more that I got to ask him about. Then we got some slaps.
Nice.
negatory.
Here's one that I made from with AI and shit.
Hmm. It's not bad at all.
Nice.
This one too.
That looks
Here's old school
familiar.
Garden Grows, DGC Jeff. Cheers, guys. What else am I missing in the chat? Garden Grows. Nice combo.
So
So,
from the
cheers,
sounds of it,
folks. I'm going to take this dab. Hop on. What's that? Oh, I didn't post the link, didn't I?
from the sounds of that Mendo Breath by Banana God's the bee's knees. So I'm excited for that one.
Wait, say it again.
The Mendo Breath by Banana God.
Oh, that's not from, so who's that from?
I think that it was. I'm not sure if that's from Bud's accidental one. That or
That's
Green
what I
Fingers
thought
just
it was.
made F. It might be an F2 that Green Fingers see it. It says F2, so I bet Green Fingers made
That's
an
probably
F2
what,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You said he was working with a male from that. Interesting. Okay. Happy
And then
accents can be really good ones.
he probably crossed this with that extreme cream as well.
Uh, Should be flavorful, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Trying to think of what else, without knowing or without hearing from them. I would imagine they would both be pretty short finishing things because anything Bud works with is going to have to be pretty economical in the garden. He's ultimately, he may pretend to be loosey goosey, but he's a dollars and cents kind of guy. So it's not going to be some freaking 11-week shit. It's
I
definitely
think
going to be like, go ahead.
I think the banana god was what's his name? The guy in LA there that Bud goes and
Yeah, yeah,
sees.
the Masonic, I think,
He
yeah.
made that Masonic, yeah. Yeah,
So
that
also
Masonic and
probably fairly short flowering on that, just from the
then
nature
Mental
of
Breath.
how he runs through the cycles.
Mental Breath is mental dope, isn't it?
No.
One of
Depends
theirs.
on who you ask, I think. I guess Fang claims that it comes from a Gage Green group, and then there are some people who I think can't claim. Let's look it up. Am I thinking of Mendo Perps or Mendo? Hold on. Mendo Breath. I keep forgetting. Yeah, see finder. Mendo Breath. Yep, see, Gage Green Genetics here. They're claiming. Now, granted, this is what they claim, of course, but you can always take everything, even if they're friends of the show. You can always take what they say with a grain of salt. You don't have to blindly trust people. But this is a good data point. I've generally been pretty happy with Seed Finder, but there are things you can find inconsistencies. If you know a breeder personally, you can find inconsistencies in things. If you've been a tester for somebody, for example, sometimes you'll find inconsistencies even on Seed Finder. It's not perfect. It's just run by people. Anyway, Mendo Breath F1, they're saying it was the OGKB by Mendo Montage and made by Gage Green. I want to say about maybe 12 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that, because it's been in a bunch of stuff. OGKB is probably about at least 12, 15 years old. Mendo Montage, they're saying is Mendo Perps by Crystal Locomotive. Anyway, for what it's worth. Cheers, everyone in the chat. I forgot to pin the link, but here we go. I'm going to pin it here in a second. Boom. Even though I was late, we are about halfway through the hour. So, folks, if a whole lot of people don't hop on here, we're not going to beat a dead horse. We'll probably hop on off here before too long. But if people do join the discussion and want to actually have a nice lively discussion, we sometimes can go a little bit longer. So
Your mama likes it, you're
if you
back.
guys want to have a discussion, hop on, join the conversation. That's exactly what she likes. She really does. Indeed, she did. Indeed. Very well done. Cheers, old school. Good to see you, buddy. I think I may have said that already, but in case I didn't. Dead Fish fans in the house. What's going on? He's just leaving work for the day. Lucky you. Good for you, my friend. Come and sit back. I still haven't had that dab, actually. So I'm going to mute myself briefly while I do that.
Right on.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Cheers, everybody. Just a reminder, Humidor does have dab. This Saturday is going to be a takeover. Find me on the Humidor and the Flavors channels. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 Pacific. Hope everyone's having a great day. Cheers, VT, J5. Oh, Johnny 5. I hope you're alive, Johnny 5. Dead Fish fan, everybody in the chat, what's going on? What's everybody smoking on? Let us know. I'm about to roll up some McFlurry for me and Mrs. D. Humidor's, I think, smoking some of that delicious looking stuff he was smoking last night. Yeah. Can you hold up the side too? Show the fancy. Okay, well, after. That was pretty fancy how the packaging. I'm gonna mute my, maybe. Yeah, right on. Well, you can sort of see it. It's pretty cool though. You can use that. Cake in a cup. Good morning. Good morning, cake. Yeah. Premium's got some good looking stuff. It's really nice looking. Oh wait, what is Saturday? Saturday's not. Good Friday's this Friday. So yeah, there probably will be a Saturday show. Let me just double triple check. Yeah, Saturday, yeah. Never mind. I forgot it's the Easter. Awesome. J5. Right on J5. Awesome. Fat bowl mixed with grape diamonds and lemon berry OG, right on dead fish. Nice, clean looking. Yeah. Yeah, man. And I am, why is that? Donnie Cross of Pure Michigan, right on J5. 25 is smoking some good sounding stuff. I'm smoking the McFlurry, which is a rare strain apparently. That's what it says. Don't hold me to it. I'm used to an extra cat.
By the way, VT in the chat, hello, my friend. He's saying nice and clean looking. You're not kidding. Even after the dab. Now, granted, it's a cold start. This is all that came off of one Q-tip, and that's it. The banger's
Nice.
clean. Just a tiny, tiny. I mean, you can't really see; it's a little washed out. But this camera's not very good for this kind of stuff. But take my word for it, very little, very, very, very little in there. So very, very clean hash. Just the
Mother,
the tiny bit of charred trichome walls, basically, is what it is. The waxy walls, pretty much. Anyway,
I hate when
cool
you rip
hash.
a paper. Damn it.
Yeah, right.
I do it all the time.
Oh, the worst is if it's some fancy pants joint. Someone's like, oh, let's joint, let's roll up a hash hole and
Yeah,
fucking you forgot a stem in it and it pokes a hole in the goddamn thing and it's just a fucking dumpster fire after that.
yeah.
It's never right after that. You can try, but you never get it perfect.
Well, I just take my scissors, I'll get in there and I'll dig out the stem or like if it's a poker,
Oh yeah.
and then I'll just take a sticky,
Hmm.
stick a sticky over it,
That's a good
cover the
idea.
hole.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Bud Kilowatts in the house. What's going on, bud? He's
Hey,
dabbing
bud.
Gushmint.
Oh, gosh,
Gushmint.
probably.
Interesting. Huh.
I'm
Probably
guessing
Gushers by what mint? He was doing something mint lately. Fuck.
mint.
What?
The Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Uh,
Um, yeah, that one, mint.
they had the Gushers clone over, I think, at what archive or somewhere. I was like, oh, I could get that, but I don't know. Too much of that kind of recessively inbred shit, I want to say. We'll see. I'm trying to work with other stuff a little bit. I had a bunch of different cookies cuts and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know, man. I don't
I
know.
love cookies.
I mean, yeah, no criticizing. The flower is delightful. My favorite, honestly, to this day, this is part of it. I was like, fuck, my favorite cookies cross I think I've ever had was basically the one clone that I talk about from, or I used to talk about because I don't have it anymore. But I used to call it cluster fuckies and cream. It was supposedly Colorado cookies and cream. I don't know what made it Colorado. I think it was just popped in Colorado and it was basically exotic genetics cookies and cream. And to this day, honestly, I've never found a better version. It was really stunning. Compact plants, to say the least, but actually, despite the compactness, really high yield. Like you'd get basically a nug this size. It'd be, oh my God, it'd be fucking 4 grams. It'd be ridiculous. It'd be a crazy amount of weed, and you could see it because you'd literally bring a couple little nugs with you, because I always try to bring weed with me, right? And I'd bring a couple little nugs because I got used to knowing how much it was, and I'd rip it out. People are like, what the fuck? I even thought we were gonna smoke a joint. I'm like, just wait. And I'd freaking rip it up, and the thing is a fluffy
Wait.
goddamn huge joint. No, it was
Yeah.
super, super dense, and unbelievably flavorful, just filled with caryophyllene, just more the kind of clove spices more than anything else. It wasn't actually that sweet. It was somewhat almost, maybe not really bitter, but sort of astringent, basically. Definitely not as sweet as some other cookies cuts. Anyway, I loved it, honestly. Super photogenic. Very little purple in it at all. It would perp out basically if it got cold or something in the final stages, but it really was more of a green cut, basically. But so much the better because you know, as we all talk about, it definitely is possible to get good cuts that are perped, but it's more difficult to find good cuts that are perped. So anyway, ah, solid, solid, solid. I wish I still had it. Anyway, I've thought about just buying another pack of cookies and cream and trying to find it or something, right? And I've seen clones of it from time to time and thought about picking it up. But anyway, so I'm like, what could I really improve on that, right? I could basically take it in a different direction. I could add some things to it and so on. But you know, I don't know that I would necessarily improve the cut, and I don't know that it necessarily needs to be improved. You know, I guess it could be in the sense that yeah, I just basically said that it wasn't a very strong grower. It's a fairly compact plant, so I guess in theory you could improve it fairly easily. All right. There's always you can be a hypocrite on your own show. Maybe if you don't have to be a hypocrite on other people's shows, but you can at least get away with it on your own show. Cheers, love for the plant. What's going on? He says, cheers, weed nerds and friends. Good to see you, buddy. Love for the plant, one of the moderators of the show. Not too many moderators, ladies and gentlemen. That's not an insult to anyone who's been a long-time viewer. It's just because we had some unfortunate moderator issues where we had somebody who was probably only one or two people, honestly. So it's important to remember it wasn't most of you guys, but somebody was banning people after the show. They found a way, basically, I think, to rewind the show. Basically, I think that glitch has actually been patched, honestly, because I've heard actually other people talking about it. But how do I put it? Anyway, long story short, they could rewind the show without actually uh, they basically were still watching a live show, but not live. Whatever. It's not worth going into. It's too nerdy to describe. Anyway, they were using that to ban people. Super, super fucking under the table and fucked up. They were banning super nice people. The only way that I found out about it was that Eagle came on the show and accidentally told me that, hey, what the fuck? Like, I'm in the chat right now with my one account and the other account is banned. And I was like, well, that's not right. Why would I ban Eagle?
Yeah.
So if it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't have known that we banned all these freaking people, Star Delta 9 and all kinds of freaking people. Just so underhanded. So anyway, if
No.
you guys wonder sometimes about why some of the YouTube channels are weird about this kind of stuff, it's because of shit like that. Cheers, Noofle. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, I was gonna say a long time no see, but we've seen you recently. What's going on, bud? Welcome.
Just another
Hey,
nice
bud.
day. How's everyone?
Right on. Good
Hi.
to see you.
That's nice. It was kind of cold here, but still nice. No snow.
It's definitely kind of the beginning of spring here. It's not that sunny, but it's I don't know, pleasant. What's the temperature here? It's I think I got too many things covered the weather. 52, 53 degrees, something like that. Not too bad.
Yeah, we're like maybe mid 60s, but it's sunny, but a little bit of cloud. So when you're in the shade, well, I mean,
Ew.
to people that live in the cold, but to me, like, oh yeah, I have a jacket and wearing extra clothes because yeah, in the 60s it's a little chilly. It was cold at night, maybe in the high 40s. But like Gumi says, oh, spring, we had a little brief shower a couple days ago. As those last ones come through, I realize remember them because one of these will be the last rain you see for 6, 7 months. You know, like that'll be a forgotten part of the year. Even spring breaks, which hey, wait, next week is April, right? Holy, the quarter of the year is already gone.
Yeah, I remember how like you said last year that the year was flying by.
Time
This year,
gone
quarter of the year
quick.
is freaking flying by, and we haven't even noticed it. You know?
Hey,
Well,
Bud, was that
Yeah. But in most areas, yeah, spring comes along and summer will be here before you know it. And like in my existence, even in the chilly, rainy discomfort of the last few months, all I have to do is think of one day when it's like 100 degrees in the same area, and I'll trade layers for that because like personally, yeah, right around low 90s That's okay. I can deal with that. But once it gets like high 90s, 100 degrees for a couple days and doesn't cool down in the evening, uh, that's more uncomfortable to me. And we'll have many more days.
Robot.
So,
Hey, Bud, was that Mendo Breath by Banana God one of yours? That like the accidental one or something like that?
Good question.
yeah, that was like when I was, uh, I had a pack of Banana God, Masonic seeds that are rags, and it's a couple years back now, but and me like the story because we went to this festival, and I had a motorhome and this whole thing that was like 7 days long. And in the days before going on that trip, yeah, I'd sexed the tray that had the different seed plants and basically missed one. By the time I came back 7 days later, yeah, the party was over. So it was a banana god male that basically spit on a 5 tray room that were perpetual. So during that cycle, I remember hoping that the tray way over here in the corner that was only like a week in didn't have seeds. And oh, of course, the tray it was on and the one right next to it, but there were 3 cycles. And I just remember the trimmer basically giving me the bad news as we cycled through that to varying degrees, everything seeded, which makes it worthless. Uh,
They're at least fire
in
seeds
that
though, right?
sense. But oh, yeah, well, like at that point, I have to think back, but oh, like somewhere between 7 and 10 different varieties that were, yeah, the Mendo brat. The uh, it's weird. It's only a couple years ago, and even though I feel like I run strains over and over for lengths of time, if I look back, I'm always like, yeah, what happened? We used to run this, and this. We were all happy. Everybody thought that was the greatest. Now it's like 2 years later, and we don't run any of those things anymore. We run this, and this. Because like, hey, I look back at the 30 some years from the late 90s to like almost 2000, late 2010 or 8, 9, 10. Me and my wife grew 2 kinds, 2 varieties, 10 years later. That was it. Like we were hunkered down. The things were a lot different. We don't have to go back in time to explain all that. But yeah, I just grew these 2 kinds. Actually, if I look at like the path that took me to many kinds was 215 era, that when we had medical stores, and as a as a grower with a certain add-on to your medical card, you could vend to those places. So there were a few years where, oh, these just popped up. Nah, I'd pop in, and a few of them I had relationships with over time, and they had like a shelf or a menu. And hey, after 10 years of growing 2 kinds, oh, some of my friends had other kinds. It wasn't like I didn't smoke other kinds, but not, I wasn't very, those were, those years, things were different. Uh, I was happy with the 2 day kinds I had. Uh, I would do business with the place, and if for what I was bringing them, I'd go, oh, hey, could I get an eighth of this and eighth of that? Because to me, that was like, what? I'd heard these names, I'd never seen one spot. And I remember the rub with that situation was I'd be selling them stuff at like wholesale, but when I wanted like an eighth or whatever, they would always have the same thing. Oh, but yeah, we got to charge you like retail or whatever. So I'd pay like 50 an eighth for a few eighths off the couple grand they owed me for like a unit or whatever. But it was like they would always explain, yeah, it's through the inventory. We got to keep track and blah, blah, blah. Right. It was never like, oh, yeah, well, we're buying shit from you for this much. Are you sure? Here, even trade. No, never like that. It was always they had to make their profit. But that was cool. I didn't give a fuck. And then I started trying all these people's weed for a while. And at the same time, a couple of the stores had clones and a few people's seeds, mainly at that point, Subcools. Because Subcool was like the only dude that did the footwork to like cold call these stores and convince them if they carried his seeds, people would buy them. And then over the years, more and more. Some of those places, no, they didn't
Fuck,
do
you're not
that.
lying, bud. North Star was on the show just a few weeks ago, or on the bigger channel. I can't remember which channel he was on. North Star Genetics, really great breeder, and he was one of the main breeders for
Yeah, I
TGA
did.
for many years. People may not know that he's obviously his own breeder now. So if you didn't know, he's his own breeder. Go check it out. Genetic Supply. Da da da. Anyway, even Flora's on Genetic Supply. He was talking about how he was the only guy. He and Cali Connection were basically in the office together. Your dude, what's his fucking name? I can never remember his name. Swerve. They were sitting in the lobbies of the dispensaries and the medical clinics and stuff. They were the only fucking people there trying to sell seeds in California all those years. Yeah, how funny is that?
Ultimately, during that time, Swerve is from San Fernando Valley, SFV. That's this part of LA. It's the base. Like, even years earlier when I went to prison, you got to claim where you're from. Yeah, I'm from SFB. So, yeah, Subcool. Oh, I met him at the place I managed the growth of one of these stores for a couple of years. And one day, the owner I worked for said, "Oh, there's this guy. He can come on over." It was only like a mile away from the storefront. Yeah, it was. And the experience I remember there was basically my boss. He's still my friend, Danny, that ran the store. He wasn't gonna put out any money to buy like X amount of seeds to sell, but sub it, you there it's hard to explain. He was like a salesman that you weren't going to say no to, like like oh, he was going to front them to you if you weren't going to put out some money. Like you weren't he wasn't. It was hard to explain. Like he wasn't in like a forceful way, right? But I remember the interaction. It was only like a brief thing. I showed up there. I ended up with five packs of different seeds. I forget the names, the ones that are all the classics, because this was way back. And I sent him the money. I never really sold them through. I grew some of them. A couple people I gifted them to, and a couple people bought a couple packs. But back then, I was a grower. I didn't know other growers are going to buy packs of seeds or not. Times were different. But those two guys, okay. So as things got more active and there was events, and then through whatever, I don't really what led me to Swerve. But of course, I'm gonna like be loyal to the dude that's representing my place, San Fernando Valley, right? And then I went 5 6 years just dedicated to Cali Connection. And that was the era that, fuck, that dude put out fire. He was in a direction of genetics than Subcool. Subcool was way ahead of his time, meaning that a lot of what now we call dessert and that you're saying, and ones that seem to be worthy in hash form because of the terpiness. Yeah, that was what he was doing before anybody even was hip to that. Like I just remember the few strains I grew of his. I couldn't tell you for sure the names. They were at that time, like early 2000s. It was the craziest. To like the normal stuff that was around, the Kushes and the OGs and standard stuff. He was like in a whole other lane of his own. That's how I remember it. Someday, I mean, I know I'm old enough to know, yeah, you can reminisce about the days that been, but one thing about life, you can't go back. There's no going back. Even if we could look back at history and say, yeah, this was, oh, we had it right. We need to go back to that. That can't happen. We only go forward. And yeah, at least I feel like as I'm getting older, oh, I was like I had there were some eras that I went through in my life, and a couple of them were really like cool. Like, yeah, I wish we could go back, but no, you don't get to go back. A lot of it is, yeah, 215 when medical marijuana was really the thing, even though it was like a little bit gray area of what that all was. But as soon as the ball switched to rec, in my recollection of what's gone down over the last years, yeah, that's when things started. That's when you had to start looking at it and go, yeah, is this really good for us all? Not so much. But does that matter? Nah, the ball keeps it rolling.
We'll be able to go back in time sooner or later.
Well,
What do you mean
Hopefully one,
physically?
yeah,
We'll be
and
able to
then
time travel, you mean?
hopefully one day.
all the pros and cons, and if you really look at them honest, yeah, I do think weed has gotten a lot better than now. Because even back then, some of the best weed that was on the market, you really had no idea what was used and in that. Today, at least, there's like a consensus to what is uh, not toxic or not bad. Back then, things would come down the line. It was more like, yeah, use. Oh no, we were like completely ignorant, and that meant we were like at the mercy of information. Actually, because for a long time we used products not because we were we didn't know it better. That was the reality. We didn't know any better. Oh, the people selling us those products, they knew better. They kind of did. Even them as much. Like what it gets down to. You know what I mean? When it comes to like Packabutasol, Eagle 20, Avid, products that were, oh, they had their time when like no one knew any different. And and yeah, I look back at that time and think, yeah, people like, yeah, we, you know,
They
basically, it
still
wasn't
use some
that
of
like,
those. I think they
oh,
still use Eagle 20 on tomatoes and stuff. I think the paclobutrazol
well,
they don't because
actually,
it's carcinogenic directly, but at the Eagle 20, I think
one
they
of
still
the
do.
biggest sales of Eagle 20, the PM stuff, is golf courses.
Hmm.
Because golf courses, for the most part, create this like fantasy landscaping that's either supported by water or non-native, we'll say, non-native landscapes because, oh, it's part, of course, thing. And yeah, they spray a lot of that stuff because a lot of other plants. Oh, I forget the name of this one flowering plant that's used in landscape that, oh, it every year just gets powdery mildew if you have that outside in your around your house. You'd have to spray it down because it would get these like webs of it. uh, Golf courses are notorious for having powdery mildew problems and treating it with the Eagle 20. Even the name Eagle 20, okay, because it used to
Also,
be called something
squash.
else.
Squash has its
Wow.
own
Veneered it even
powdery
into
mildew.
gnarlier product. The chemical company was marketing basically the same raw chemical under a different brand name for a while. And then so many years ago, a lot of years ago, yeah, they came up with Eagle 20 as its name. In golf, you get an eagle, that's a one shot. Yeah. Golf is their main
I got a
around.
golf course right in back of my house. Well, kinda. There's probably about 400, 500 feet of woods between us. But I'm on the
What
back.
Bud's even talking about is actually a real thing that golf courses are notorious pesticide traps, and people who live near golf courses don't realize this, but they actually have gigantic pesticide loads. Same thing with people who live near freeway on ramps and off ramps. The feds and whoever well, I guess the state governments run the freeway off ramps, but whoever runs them, they don't give a fuck. They just basically spray it with whatever kills shit, and that is not very good for you, honestly. Isn't that kind of
So,
fucked up?
Jesus, where are these flies? Dude, these flies show up every time it gets warm. One's dead.
And
Anyways,
In the bells of hell.
in the 90s,
if you look straight
Julie
back,
Partner Scott had a couple different like apartment grows in the LA area. This is before like we didn't know anything, but we were basically hydro, still using Rockwell and GH, all the same shit. We had this one that was on the on ramp of the 10 freeway, one of the most congested freeways in LA. It was this weird apartment building where the back windows, faced the foot like it was low rent because beyond the noise, it was the right there in the fucking on ramp where they excelled. And we did the same strain, the same method, a couple lights. We were just fucking young guys doing our thing. We think, fuck, whatever we're doing at the fucking that apartment, like the yields were big. Like so many years later, look,
Oh
especially
yeah,
where
we're
it's an on
roboting a
ramp.
lot.
Cars are putting out
it took
are
me a while
putting
to actually.
Hey Bud, it's really hard to hear you. You're roboting a lot. I don't know if you can change that at all, but it's really sketchy.
It took me a while. I actually did some soil tests on my outdoors. I did a lot of like making sure my ground was good because I am close enough to the golf course and I run downhill from the golf course.
we just were using air, fans, bringing air out and everything. And that apartment had like considerably bigger yields doing the same shit. And we didn't at the time we didn't understand. Years later, when I started to learn more, yeah, I realized, yeah,
that was the first time we were enriching with like high loads of CO2 and not really even realizing it and getting the results from it. Now, did that bud probably have other soot and stuff? Because yeah, we were sucking air right from the window facing the freeway, one of the busiest ones in LA.
I've always heard cotton used a lot of pesticides and
And
insecticides.
we didn't trip so much on like smell control there stuff because you were next to the freeway. It was already like this, like it was definitely not the best air quality there.
Yeah, we should surround the freeways with cannabis and hemp farms.
Well, one time I was doing Caltrans community service, cleaning up on the side of the freeway so many hours, and a branch going through the brush, like just barely glanced my eye. And within like a half hour, my eye was fully like swole shut and all this. And because I was working state volunteer, they took me to the fucking emergency hospital and they looked. Yeah, what it was, yeah, there's a coating of soot on all the vegetation along the side of the freeway that fuck is toxic, meaning that came in contact with my eye and it healed after a couple days. They gave me some drops, but like it didn't take but like less than a half hour. My eye was swole shut and like fucked up just from like glancing on a leaf from a tree next to a freeway on a freeway.
Yeah, I don't know how San Diego is, but if you, Bud, you grew up in LA, you probably remember this. It's this way to this day, even though California has really stringent air standards for basically everything, not just cars and trucks and stuff, even, but factories and all kinds of stuff are required to do all kinds of things that other states don't require. Everyone knows the California labels all their stuff like, oh, contains products known to cause carcinogens to the state of California, da da da, because California has those standards above. Well, still, it's such a packed state basically compared to the rest of the country, especially for example, Los Angeles. It's a basin basically surrounded by, well, a couple basins surrounded by mountains where the air doesn't really escape essentially. Anything that is outdoors eventually over a couple of weeks even gets a film of black shit on it basically. So if you leave out, I don't know, lawn furniture, or if you put out, people will dry clothes or something. If you forget your clothes, like a fairly common experience, you get busy and you just forget you had clothes of drying, the backyard or something. If you come back in a week, if you shake your clothes off, they have even then a layer of fine black bullshit, and that's pollution.
Right.
That's literally
It's
pollution from the
basically
fucking cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago reading a thing about the
Also
LA pollution, which
microplastics.
I remember as a
Probably.
kid, the smog layer being so thick you could see it.
Yep.
And even as like a single digit kid, those afternoons, just being a kid, later in the afternoon, if you took a deep breath, you could feel it when it was really smoggy. And then we changed the gas and all this and make this story a little shorter. This article was pointing out that, yeah, the blend we use and the things we did took away a certain, obviously needed
Because we used
part
to
of the
use leaded
smog.
fuel, which
But yeah,
isn't that
we
good.
used to use lead and there's even more to it. But because LA is super crowded with cars, like even this last bridge thing, and they're saying on the news, 30,000 people cross that bridge a day. A couple of the intersections in LA are the biggest in the world and
Mhm.
have like 1 million people go through it a day and shit,
Yep.
like beyond crazy amounts of fucking cars. And yeah, all those cars are just spitting out this. Yeah, one of the
I'd
reasons like
argue
so many years I live where I do is basically yeah, because even the most expensive fucking places in LA, like like
I'd
you
argue
can
that
get off the freeway. Like, freeways are like, yeah, one day they'll come out and say they're the most toxic,
Mhm.
cancers causing zone of
No, they've already
like,
said that actually. Yeah, kids who live within a couple of miles, there's basically a whole stripe of area around highways, and the only real exception is if there's like wind patterns basically that blow the pollution further. All the kids that basically live within 2 miles of either direction of the freeway have higher instances of asthma, childhood leukemia, all kinds of issues. Basically, it's super fucked up. We don't even talk about this kind of stuff because
If you
fuck.
look at like big
And a
cities
lot
like
of
New
like
York, hold on, let me say this before I forget it, bud. If you look
in
at big
LA,
cities like New York and Boston, it like the highways literally cut through the middle of downtown and stuff.
Mhm.
It's so congested, and the highways are like
a
if
lot
you
of
go
times like LA,
to
they
touch
used to, I grew up, there was traffic at rush hours. Okay. Now we have like traffic at these weird times, really gnarly.
Mhm.
Most of that's caused by trucking. And if you really look into it, you'll understand, oh yeah, on this day and this day is when they're fucking unloading all the barges from Pedro and
Mondays and
all these
Thursdays.
trucks are hitting the road with
Mm.
those containers, right?
Mondays and
And
Thursdays is when they do the offloads.
Mm.
yeah. And then when those trucks are on the road, even if it's at night, when there's so many of them, they have to drive slower. Oh, all of a sudden there's fucking traffic at weird fucking hours. Beyond the fact, most of those trucks are driving around with less than 10 miles a gallon, way less than 10 miles a gallon fuel efficiency, burning diesel. Like even you can see in the lanes that the trucks use, there's this darker like oil from them. Like, yeah, and we use those trucks like our whole
Well,
Walmart economy and Amazon economy, like no local economy, is like just ship shit constantly. Like, oh, we have an amazing network of distribution. It's amazing how fast this shit works. But when you think about like how much fuel is used and the way we do it, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, Walmart uses all trucks, a lot of trucks. Like they have like the
every company
biggest truck
uses
parking
trucks. They
lot.
have
It
to.
used to
But
Which
be
is
they use,
honestly what makes
you
the
got
US go
a
around.
but
load
they use
of
like their main
stuff.
main site in Arkansas. You know, I guess because it's centrally located in the U.S. Maybe that's why they can just like distribute from there. Like just Walmart
Um,
trucks. They've got huge, huge
Well, yeah, but
parking
see,
lots of
part of it
trucks.
is like when we were growing up, when you saw a truck delivering something to somewhere, it was like most of it was like a whole load of one thing. Okay. Now the way Walmart does it, yeah, that truck pulls up and it has 5 blenders, 2 pairs of pants, some food items, like small amounts that the computer system has the inventory system. Yeah, so they just ship like all these little amounts because they have no capacity to have like a store or stock. Like grocery stores used to even have like, oh, let's check in the back. There's no reason to ask a grocery store if they have it in the back because they don't have a back, right? Like it's on
Mm.
the shelf. And the way the inventory works is, oh yeah, they just keep delivering small little amounts and keep it stocked. And that's it. Oh, ultimately why things cost so much for us to purchase. Cause yeah, we pay for all that transportation in the cost of products.
So in a store, they have things that they buy more of and things that they buy less of. If there's someone, if they only sell 10 units a month, they're not going to order a truckload. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. But if they order,
Yeah,
but if it's
some
like
of that
paper
makes sense.
towels or something, they'll fill up a truck with paper towels, blah, 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 toilet paper, this, that.
Yeah, there's some items that go like that. But if you really look at Walmart
I used to work at
and
Walmart. You know?
all the millions of trucks you see coming, those little 40-foot tractor trailer things are a mix of a bunch of small, like they stock
They
small.
are and they
They're
aren't. I
like
mean, they
in the
have like I've actually unloaded those trucks. Like, yeah, there are some like a couple boxes of this, couple boxes of that. But for the most part, when you're restocking, you're getting a good amount of stuff. Um, I noticed the things that come in smaller are like the electronics, like iPads, phones, this, that. They don't send a truckload of those ever. They'll send maybe 5 to the store. When Wii's, I was actually working when Wii's were first coming out, Nintendo Wii's, and I understood that the game companies were making um, the hype because they were only sending us like 10 units to sell. And once we sold out, we people would be coming in trying to buy them. So there are companies that do that too, like only send you a certain amount. Coffee. I don't know. Like Walmart, ah, Walmart and Amazon are taking like honestly taking down more small stores than any other big corporations. Um, like if you go downtown in like small towns of Massachusetts now, half of the places are fucking boarded up or for rent or whatever. You can't really find those small stores anymore, local marts or
Especially in small towns. Ironically, in bigger cities, you'll have more variety of small businesses. It's something that I've actually really marveled at, that basically in small towns, you drive through a small town and it's basically all corporate chains. TGI Fridays, Ruby Tuesday, Outback Steakhouse, whatever. Whereas
even the
those
gas
chains don't
companies.
necessarily thrive in the middle of a city because you have so much variety. I think that basically you can go to the actual Mexican place instead of going to the fake Mexican place, or there's actually like a real Australian grill instead of a fucking fake Australian grill in a city, you know? And so you'll have the little mom and pop donut shops and fucking steak shops and whatever the shit. Whereas in small towns, ironically, all that money is a corporate fucking money funnel that gets shipped out to Atlanta or to New York City or to fucking
Yeah.
Zurich or
And
somewhere
the
from small town
economy
America.
the last so many years has squeezed out most of these small businesses. The few that you say are still existing are existing out of like passion for what they do. Most of them are on the verge of fucking being squeezed out by all this. And yeah, like it San Diego has always been this corporate restaurant hub, even though we have like
I wish I knew Cali better.
uh, but then, oh, LA, San Francisco, Portland, just places I know of, all have like great food cultures, right? And the places, when you go to those places, you only see like sporadic corporate restaurants because they can't compete in that environment. Oh, in San Diego, that's the only choices you have because like whatever the dynamics were over the years, yeah, that's
That's like
predominantly like
in my
what.
city, you can't like open a chain. Like there's only a couple chain pizza places that actually survive. We don't have Papa John's, we don't have Pizza Hut, we got one Domino's. Like
See,
we
it's the
have
other way here. It's the other way here, where those
is that
places seem to survive, and then only like one of those legit places, like around me. Yeah, I have to drive about 10 minutes further. They don't do the delivery or anything. I guess Uber would deliver, uh, but uh, Village Pizza. And yeah, they use really good
that's funny. We have
dough.
Village Pizza
They
too.
make a real pizza. Then, oh, Pizza Hut, this every brand you can name are right here in town, all across from each other. And yeah, trust me, I see their delivery thing on the cars and the activity at their little store in the little mall that had like 6 businesses that over the 25 years I've lived here. No, those are
You're
basically
not
the only ones, nail job, pedicure places, haircut places, but like any store that like sold items, they're gone.
you're not gonna even find like a dude, I don't even think we have like Panda Express and all that shit because
Even
we
in
like
my town, like I realized, like, oh, it seems like opportunity. If you served good food, people would come. But here's the thing. If I was to work that hard, I'd open it up in Vista or San Marcos, where I'd have access to 100,000 more people than my small town. But over the years, all the fast food places, oh, we have the only Chinese food that's in town is that place, Panda Express. It's so nasty. I never
you gotta
hardly eat
come
it.
to like I could
But
bring you to
there's a
like some of
real
the
Thai
best Chinese
restaurant.
restaurants.
There's a real Thai restaurant, and they make food fresh Thai. I go there quite often. Hardly anyone ever there, right? But then a lot of these
all the fast food places that have opened in town. The latest one, and shit, I don't even have to tell them my order because they know me so well. Because I get the Aloha pineapple with protein and caffeine added. They opened a Jamba Juice. And I was like, oh, and if you go there pretty often, they give you these rewards. So a lot of times it's like, oh, you only owe $3. I'm like, cool. And I figure, well, I read the sign, thing tastes pretty good. Uh, they don't use any additive bullshit. And how do you go wrong with a protein drink? But yeah, those kind of places, they all open in oh, Jersey Mike's, they opened, and now Subway, no one is at Subway anymore because Jersey Mike's is better. But there's not an independent sub guy, which, yeah, like how hard is it to make a good hoagie, right? But yeah, the way that costs, overhead, taxes, everything to be in business, no, those corporate things like stomp all over you.
That's good. The food trucks are good. That's a good way to
That's a
have some
big
cheap, good food.
in San Diego, and
Here we don't
I don't
have
check
Jersey
their
Mike's.
apps,
We
but
don't
I
have
already know, and there's these two that are popular that, oh, once in a while they spring up on this street or this other street. Uh, uh, one's a Korean food one that's really good, and the other one's like
Huh,
really good
nice.
taco or burritos.
Yeah, mostly Mexican. Yeah, it's weird that like Chinese haven't like gotten into that Chinese food trucks.
Well,
Yeah, they don't. It's harder because they have all the big walks and they need
like
more flame.
in Southern California and,
Yeah,
and in other cities, the food truck thing is this new fad for the last 10 years at least. And some of the best food and best chefs are operating them in certain places. I saw a thing about it, and when they interviewed these guys, they're like, "Yeah, we have hopes. We would love to have a brick and mortar, a real restaurant, but the overhead it prevents us, and uh, we actually make a profit doing the food truck thing, and we can put out the same quality food, which is all like." Ultimately
yeah.
all they care about, right? Where if
It
they
reminds me
open
of ice cream
a
trucks.
restaurant, the next thing you know, they're going bankrupt. They're not making any money because the overhead is so crazy.
Yeah. But the ice cream trucks used to have a route that they'd go on. They didn't just stay one spot.
Maybe that's what the food trucks should start doing. Start cruising
Yeah,
up and down the
maybe.
neighborhoods during dinner
I mean,
time,
at least
lunchtime.
yeah, maybe lunchtime have a set
I
spot they'll
think
be at,
And
but then
most of
right
the good
around
food
lunch go
trucks,
travel.
you have to follow
so. I've
their,
said this before.
and then
You
they're
know
going
the
to
road.
tell you, oh, we're going to be at this corner or this field or wherever they are today.
Yeah,
And
that's
some
why
of them,
Facebook
oh, when
Market.
you show up there, get ready to get in line because they got a bunch of loyal people, and some of them are smart. Where oh, they hit this part of town on that day, and then they hit this part of town on that day. All
Well,
of
yeah.
these
The
different
problem.
cities are more welcoming to parking somewhere and selling food. Because a lot of times, oh, guess what? Who do you think calls and makes the complaint that some food truck has a line of people and selling food?
Yeah,
The
that's right.
restaurants that are losing their ass with their overhead that feel threatened by that. So, and there are just certain people in the community that can't stand it. Like a few people are gathered on, like the one food truck spot on my Mission Road. It's like a turnout. Sometimes that's where people pull over if they break down. It's like I don't know who owns it. It's like
Yeah,
empty.
we had one of those. It was where a hot dog truck. Like
And
growing
when
up,
the
my
guy
dad would.
took up his food truck
Yeah,
there,
hot dog trucks. Yeah, they were one of the first.
oh, yeah, there's like people pulling in and pulling out. Hey, I know this from running my fruit stand on a different road, but part of my liability insurance and all that And when
There's
they
the cars
changed
pulling in and out in the parking lot.
yeah, like if somebody
Yeah.
did a left turn, even though you weren't supposed to, you were supposed to go to the right and do a U-turn. But
Yep.
shit, people would just do this left turn, and if there was like a collision there, oh, that's possibly beyond me because they were turning into my establishment. And things like that
So,
matter. Like, oh, when you all of a sudden you have a business, shit that you didn't even think about all of a sudden matter. Or
so around here,
money wise, like, it wasn't that it mattered. It was why my insurance was whatever, $15 more a month or whatever. It all
Jersey
seemed
Mike's,
significant.
Firehouse Subs, none of
But at
them,
the end
none
of
of
the
them.
day, those numbers squeezed you out of business.
Like
All the overhead.
Subways here, but we have a local chain called D'Angelo's, and they have like one of the big grills in there, and they cook your steak. When you go in, you order a steak and cheese. They cook it right in front of you.
Well, I finally went to the place. Dave's something chicken
Oh,
sandwich.
Dave's Hot Chicken, that shit is fire.
Okay, it was pretty good. But then I've noticed in the last couple years, yeah, that's the new like fast food model. There's Dave's, there's like a couple copy types that yeah, they just sell a fried chicken patty thing with some sauces on a pickle and bun, right? And chicken like
What did I get? I think I got the two tender sandwiches, but they're big.
they're okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
like
right.
this, but he's not wrong. Basically, the simplest possible menu so that they can. It's the internet model, honestly. Internet has a very simple menu so that they don't have a lot of waste. They don't have a lot of employee
Waiting
waste or
time.
anything else. Not a lot of training or anything else. They don't. Oh, how do we cook the chicken? How do we cook the beef? How do we cook the fish? Da, 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 da. They
And
fucking cook
they
beef all day
literally
long.
in
That's it.
2 years they went from like that to a franchise where like they spread like wildfire everywhere, right? Oh well, look how easy it is and distribution the food, and it's not bad. The thing is, here's an example. There was this independent place that I used to eat at all the time because it's on the way to my work over here called Chili Coast. It's these two Asian women that have now gotten pretty old. They run a burger place. They got beer on tap, sports, TV, good burger and stuff. They always had a special during the day. Quarter pound bacon cheeseburger, fried, a Coke. It was $9.75. I used to get it all the time. They remodeled the whole building. And so they were closed. And I think it was about a year. Well, the building was being remodeled. All the tenants had to shut down while they redid the building.
See, that's devastating to some of these businesses.
I realized, oh, their signs back out. They're open. Sure enough, they're open. Basically, even though the building's been redone, they set up the same old booths and stuff. But the and this kind of coincides with COVID and shit. So they were shut down for a couple years. They were. I thought that they were never going to open again. But now that same lunch special, $13.75. Still worth it in today's like, okay. But that was like a thing where I realized, yeah, God, for years I paid $9.75 for this. And a burger, fry, and a Coke. Like, oh, now it's like 13, 15. Oh, some places 20, right? Like it's like, wow. And it's not going back down. I know that. Like I was saying, things go back. Some things, yeah, the prices
I'm
of
honestly surprised that
going out to eat. I used to think lunch, get something to eat. Oh, if I had money, I wouldn't even sweat it. But not every day do I have money. $10. $10 used to kind of be in my mind, like, oh yeah, you could get something, $10. No, $10 ain't shit.
now it's 25.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and however that happened, it happened. Like, it seemed like COVID had something to do with it. California, part of this is fast food workers, and that only includes the chains. It doesn't include, like, for instance, this lady running her burger place. She doesn't have to pay $20 to her workers, but McDonald's and Wendy's and all them, they have to pay $20. Some
So-
law that is
We're
controversial.
talking.
There's a lot of people talking shit about it. Ultimately, when you really understand it, that it's very selective and it only hits the fast food places, which, a Big Mac, fry, and a Coke is $13 too. So, well, do I want to give them $13 for that fucking cardboard bullshit, or go to a place that actually cooked the burger and no comparison? But McDonald's raised their prices. I don't know what they did in other states, probably selling it for less because they don't have to pay their worker $20. But
And the
anytime
food-
they're going to pay their worker, it's not like the corporate earnings are going to go down.
I
or
get.
No, Dave's
or-
actually pays their workers about
like
20 bucks an
me.
hour. In-N-Out pays their workers 20 bucks an hour. Has very little to do with the overall cost of their product.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's product is still cheap. Dave's is actually still relatively inexpensive for what it is compared to other fried chicken places. So all these other companies like McDonald's, it's just greed. They're fucking around. They're telling everybody that it's labor, but it's not.
and their
So,
food are
what
getting
about-
and the McDonald's food's getting smaller and smaller. Big Mac's not like a Big Mac how it used to be.
Like, it's been so long, but I grew up on McDonald's. I remember there
Fuck
used to be
McDonald's.
a guy, and when you ordered your burger, they put it on a grill, and he was flipping all the McDonald's like a grill. They cooked it. They cooked the burger.
Now,
Like McDonald's, what last time I went there, I don't go there. It was like this lady, and it was like this, like she used these tongs and this weird little plastic thing that went in this, like I assume was a microwave, and like it was, like I looked at that the last time and I realized, oh, they don't even need a person. That could be done by robotics.
they used to press them too. Crazy. My brother used to work for McDonald's. Now actually he's a bigwig for one of the head offices.
But
I went to the In-N-Out, dude, and I was like, "Can I get bacon on my burger?" I was like, "Can I just get bacon
it's
cheese?"
such
They're
a
like, "No."
disappointment that like I rarely fall for it. But like I say, I'm a kid from the '60s. So I remember when McDonald's used to be good. And I remember when their fries
McDonald's used to be good
back
when
in
I
the
was a kid.
oil era. Oh, there no one came close on the fries. Something they did.
McDonald's started, all these
Fucking-
fast food restaurants started to change late 90s, early 2000s, and their motto,
But
food,
and they
all
still have the same thing, the Big Mac and the Quarter Pounder. There is sometimes that triggers in my memory, right? Oh, some days it's an In-N-Out burger. Like there's like, I don't know about other people, but if you grew up and then you had these certain brands that were like part of your existence, uh,
Sure, my dad was a new
I
immigrant to
still
the
think
U.S. and
that
he used to
Quarter
take me to
Pounder is
McDonald's.
gonna, like
Dude.
be like the one of the
It
past.
was like a
But
treat.
oh no, that past is gone. And now it's this like, it's not even real food at this point. At one point, hey, as good as In-N-Out Burger is, McDonald's used to be the same thing. Okay, they used to make the shit just like that, or to order.
McDonald's kind of started going downhill, like back when the whole monopoly thing and them getting caught for the scams and
No,
You
no,
got to
no, no,
remember
no, no.
that. Let me finish because we're talking over each other quite a bit. You got to remember that Bud actually lives in Burger Town. So people don't know this that are not from LA. LA is where fast food burgers come from. Basically, that's where In-N-Out and McDonald's both come from. And when you go to LA, they have a bunch of other local chains that they'll have two or three shops like Astro Burger and all these different places, Fat Burger, and on and on. McDonald's literally started by the McDonald's brothers in LA. There's a good chance that Bud actually used to go to the original McDonald's when it was owned by the McDonald's brothers, and then Ray Kroc took over and basically corporatized the whole
A
thing.
lot of
So, yeah.
restaurants test here. Even if their owners or their idea came from somewhere else, brands like, oh, the Cheesecake Factory. I can name a bunch of restaurants that before they got rolled out nationally, they had select places in LA that had certain demographics, right? And if they worked well there, next thing you know, they rolled them out. That's how, and some failed. Uh, and burgers, yeah, I guess you're right. LA has this history with burgers, and and you know, like even there's still a few of them. There's this place called Tommy's. Okay, it has its own history. Open, they make chili burgers, and they have like their own chili. That's Tommy's chili. It's just meat chili, but like you don't get the lettuce tomato burger there. You get the chili burger there, and yeah, it's. I think they
I
most
love
of these
Tommy's.
places have attempted to
Never heard of
become
it.
national brands. Ultimately, once you become a national brand,
Your quality
even
goes down.
serve good shit back
You
in
need to
your
spend money.
pizzeria or burger place in Boston or Portland or wherever, when you try to roll that out to to hundreds of stores or more across the country nationally,
Oh, it's
you
raining, bro.
end up in your food. Oh, remember when the food was good? And then once you become a national brand, you have to make sacrifices to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Like,
So
every
I
once in a
think
while, you can
I
still
grew
get
up.
a good burger out of most of those places, but it's rare,
I grew
right?
up with like the diners. Like I've always gone to a diner, and I've always been able to get a good burger. Diners have, I think, it
Shop
started on the
areas.
East
But
Coast.
but I don't know about your area. In my area, there's still a couple, but a lot of those are the things that just slowly over time, a lot of them were run by older people. They finally got sold out. They shut down. No one from the new generation wants to open up the breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee shop, right? Even though,
No
some,
country
hey,
kitchen mukbang.
there's different food cultures and different communities around. Ultimately, to what we're really talking about, and as we're a community, and our dollars actually is the only thing that matters. We're how we spend them. Any way you can support local economy, even if it costs you 10 cents more or a dollar more or whatever, because even though it might not even make a difference in the longevity of the, the situation, that's what this is about. Like, oh, all this Walmart, Amazon, all their way of doing it, all that transportation, all that, it that's this global like uh uh for places. We saw this during the pandemic. Like,
Nice
don't ever
has.
forget, like toilet paper, something that's pretty much what often people are fighting for, last roll of toilet paper within days, right? Um, Local economy, like like because if we're completely dependent on that their distribution thing for our survival, well,
Well, yeah, because
yeah.
people don't understand that. Like back in the day, we didn't have toilet paper. People used actual like
But whether it's
washcloth
that
and
or
washed
any
them.
number of products that are needed for day-to-day life, right? Right? Baby formula, milk, food, supply, like,
You
okay, yeah, we could all rough it if we had to. Okay. Some of us probably couldn't, but all right. But that is on this distribution system that they're in control of. And like ultimately we're never going to see any change if they can, like, oh, I have a feeling that if we ever stood up against the system we're facing, all the things that we rely on that they control, the internet, the food supply, they would use those things.
do you guys
Like,
remember the
like
episode?
if you think that, like, oh, people are starting to put momentum to make change, right? Or go in a different direction. Those, and it really came down to push come to shove. The next thing you know, they had turned the internet off on you.
You
Next
guys
thing you
remember the
cut you
episode of
off from water supply. Next thing you know, they cut you off from energy, because that they can ultimately, those are the things that control us the most. That's just, I could be crazy to think that, but like I always realize that, yeah, if you're expecting us to ever like over or change or revolutionize the system, and go against the status quo, oh, we're going to have to realize we'll have to do it without all those things because they're going to take those things away right away. They'll call it something else. They'll make up some fucking, oh, it's martial law or it's this or that. But like if one part of the country was like fed up and said, fuck this, they would just isolate that part of the country. And you know what I mean? The government to stay in control.
Fuck, now I forgot. I had something
Maybe
I was gonna
maybe
say.
they're just a bunch of nice guys with our best interest at heart. Maybe they are.
Someone needs to open a. Someone needs to open up a McDougal's. Maybe Eddie Murphy will
Didn't they
sponsor.
do that in Russia? Like McDonald's got pissed off at Russia and then shut down all the McDonald's, and then Russian people
They changed the name on it.
like
So
just
all these companies
the
left
name a
with the
little
sanctions.
and then opened up their own version of it, and no one
Yeah.
knew the difference.
Everyone. So when the wars started, the sanctions happened. But I just seen a video the other day, and they're like, "We don't have Coca-Cola, we have Coley Coley," like just some random off-brand.
Yeah. Well, some of our brands do have that kind of power, you know, internationally.
I'm dying here. Oh, God.
I saw a story. I think it was on the Daily Show or whatever. They made a comedy skit, but it really was. I think it was like a chicken place. Okay, it was a Popeyes, we'll say, and then the Popeyes shut down, and then these other people opened up a chicken place and basically made it look like they were Popeyes. Okay, and served like not even close quality food for all this time.
That's
And
not even that bad.
somehow some undercover journalist called them on
Depends
it.
on the Popeyes, but the
Cut it
stereotype of their
down, and
terrible
it
customer
became
service is on point.
But I thought,
Did you guys
yeah,
hear about? I think it was there was a bunch of MIT students that like made a fake restaurant and they built a huge hype about it, and it was all just like like a ploy.
but like you could just open up a place and pretend to be one of those places. You could probably go find an old auction, business auction, the old Jack in the Box sign or something, put it up, and then operate for a few months before they caught on.
That sounds like something an Indian scammer would do.
Yeah, but that's what these people were doing. I got this fried chicken thing, and they got caught, and then the place had a cease and desist order. And then, if I remember the story, they did change it to try to apply with the court thing that was going on. And I think they changed the O to a Q because it was the easiest thing they could do on the sign or whatever. So it, like, yeah.
Cool.
September 2023, college students from Vanderbilt and I don't even know these universities staged a fake restaurant called Meeherns Steakhouse for one night in Manhattan's East Village. And it was like all store-bought food and everything. Like, dude, it's a pretty crazy. Check it out.
And they invited all the top food critics.
Yeah, they have food critics there. They have.
It showed that a couple of the food critics walked in and were like, "What kind of bullshit this?" Called them on it, but then a couple of the other ones like fell for it the whole way.
Dude,
because like really in a food circle, you can't just make up stuff that everyone has their resume and where they worked. And so I remember that story, and part of that MIT thing was that they invited like all the top food critics from all these newspapers. And a couple of them, they had it on video. They showed, it didn't fool them at all. Like they from the moment they sat down, they were calling the bluff. But then a couple of the other ones, but they fell for it. And actually made a review and said it was so great.
But that's not the first time that's happened. either. Like H.
Well, with IA, deep fake is going to take stuff like this to a whole other level, right? And that's part of like
Bro
where
always says
you're
that.
going to now be able to spin a yarn like that using technology too, and a little bit of reality.
Fuck.
Yeah, people are easily fooled. I don't think I would assume I'd be fooled if somebody's intent was to fool me.
So
Here's a
if McDonald's is just microwaving their burgers, I don't know. I guess they're
A
frozen,
few
or
different
maybe
places
the
are.
burger.
Jack in the Box. I've heard that Carl's Jr. does it. What else?
Wendy, like
Can't
I
they just
know
be selling them in the
Wendy's is
supermarket
all
then?
right,
Pardon?
They can just
but
be
the
selling
thing
them
with
in the
Wendy's is
supermarket then.
you can't
Hmm.
even order and say, okay,
White
in
Castle
focus,
does
you
that.
guys are handing you the food
Mm.
like so fast, and oh, it's really hot. Even the fries,
oh,
everything's hot like
Sonic.
that. Oh, because it's been mic'd right at the last second. Yeah.
So I
Boy,
always, if I go to McDonald's, I only get quarter pounders because they made a vow and they still keep to it that they have to make them fresh.
Yeah, but even the way they make them fresh isn't like they actually have a steel grill or iron grill and grill them and flip them. That
Yeah,
they
and then
they
so
have some
every
like
burger at McDonald's
modern
is technically
fucking
cooked
air
on a
fry
grill.
I
microwave
don't
type.
think they're raw though, smashed. I don't know. I really don't. I think, for example, In-N-Out, that's one of the reasons why the burgers are actually really good. It comes from raw beef patties that they are pre-packed at their facility, but In-N-Out has their own beef facility. McDonald's has their own beef facilities too, but they're shipped frozen and they're semi-cooked. They're par-cooked, I think. So technically, I think they're actually done, like ready to eat, and then they're basically heated up essentially. They used to be heated up on a grill, but now I think they're pretty much heated up on a microwave in many cases. I don't think every McDonald's is that way, but I think a lot of them are,
And I
to be
can
And
for
tell you,
real.
well,
like
this was
the
before
other
the beef.
day, it was like Friday or Saturday night, maybe 10 or 11. I went to In-N-Out and the drive-in line was super long, but I've learned don't it, it'll be just as fast there as if you went in because oh, they had the person outside with the little computer thing going up the line, right? And yeah, because everything's transparent there. It's like a dance. It's like perfectly like yeah, from the time they take your order, you in the time you go to that window, which is only this amount of
oh,
time, they've got it all figured out
Mm.
exact. Yep, that burger gets put on the grill, cooked, cheese,
One of the
this.
reasons why In-N-Out takes so long for the freaking drive-through, the drive-through sometimes can be a couple hours, honestly, on a Friday or Saturday night, is because
holy
they literally make
fuck.
the burgers to order. It's
And
actually kind
I
of annoying because
realized
even when
now
they have a line out the door, they still won't pre-drop the patties. They only drop the patty when you
you
order
pay
the
twenty
meat.
dollars for working in and out. In that hour that you're on shift and you're doing whatever your station is, oh, you're you're getting $20 worth of work out of you. You're like it's not like no one's standing around ever.
Oh,
They
they have
have
high
this whole,
productivity at those
like
stores, yeah.
yeah, everybody's got their
Yeah,
job
you
and
got
they
to think of it like this.
usually young people.
McDonald's is a brand. Look at how many people they've collabed with over the last like 3 years. They've had Travis Scott. They just did the Grimace shake.
That's
Like,
that's just
Yeah, that's
marketing
a
smashed.
sign.
I don't know
Look,
what
yeah,
you're.
they're
That's
a
just
brand.
marketing.
I know that might
And
impress
what?
you, but that's a
What
sign of
other food
desperateness
place collabs
to
with
like
like
try to brand your
celebrities?
food thing. Some
Travis
hip
Scott is
hop
not
guy.
designing a burger smashed. Kim
Huh?
Kardashian is not designing the
No,
perfumes
but
that she sells.
what
Like
other
it's a
restaurant does something like that to get your
A
attention? Not many.
desperate one.
why do
A
they have to get your
McDonald's
attention?
has
Because their
always
food is
had
not that good.
desperate gimmicks.
I
Even
didn't they just
Great.
collab with Krispy Kreme? Somebody did the
Dude,
donuts.
they
well,
Ooh,
It
like
was
when
McDonald's.
you
that's
get into
good.
like
Nike.
what there's like three fast food conglomerates that own everything, right? Yum Yum Foods that owns like fucking most all these ones, like
Cisco.
Carl Jr. or this, that, the other. Sometimes when you're at truck stops, you realize because they'll operate like one place will be five things, the same thing because they're under the corporate umbrella.
If
McDonald's is its own huge animal, but they also do own other stuff.
if you look on like
Oh
Uber
shit.
Eats, there's a whole bunch of ghost kitchens now, like
Hmm.
well around where I am, but it will say like a completely different name, like Wings, blah blah blah, and you look at it and you look at the address and it's like Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that
Uh,
was like Mr. Beast Burger. That was basically just ghost kitchens, and he ended up
yeah,
basically severing the relationship because the ghost kitchens weren't very good and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
he
Yeah,
used
I mean,
Friendlies over here, and it was actually all right.
Hmm.
to have stuff 7 days a week, 365 days a year, consistent
Ooh.
menu. I mean, like that's the thing. Like I don't know if they still control, but even because McDonald's sold X amount of French fries, they had a certain control of the overall world potato market, right? And beef. Like you think, wait, how much beef could they be involved in? Oh, enough that McDonald's has influence on the whole global beef market.
And don't forget the the McDonald's beef when it says 100% pure beef, that's the company name. That's not the
Yeah,
actual.
Oh, come on. We all know
I
where
can
the beef
imagine.
is. It's in Wendy's buns.
Oh, it's right. It's right down here.
because everywhere's closed except Jack in the Box. It's open 24 hours. There's two of them around here, and I really don't like Jack in the Box, but I do notice by
It
looking at their
used to be
menu
mediocre,
that
and then they got worse.
they
Seriously.
basically have some weird thing you can order that's like a conglomerate of every fucking weird thing on their menu that's like marketed toward like being a stoner at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The bucket of slop.
Yo, there,
I
there's
got food
another
poisoning from
there's
Daniel
another
Shan.
restaurant like that, black like Jack in the Box. It's in Florida, dude. Crackers.
I don't know what they claim, but like every once in a while I have a weird craving for those 2.99 cent tacos, even though I live in taco capital of the fucking world.
Oh,
And whatever is meat, that's not meat I'm already sure that whatever I'm
are you
eating
talking
when I
about?
eat that
Soy
taco is
protein and
not
whatever
meat.
the shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
like
talking
it's
about?
like this weird.
Are you talking about taco smell?
No, I don't. To be honest,
Oh,
one
Jack in the
place
Box tacos. Jack in the Box has their own
Oh,
tacos that are special, kind of something or other. No, I know what he means because
oh, okay.
like if you grew up on them in college or something, you'll have like basically for me like the famous stars at what was it? Famous Stars, I guess was Carl's Jr. But whatever, I can't remember the $1 burger that Jack in the Box used to have. I used to fucking live on those
yeah, the
motherfuckers,
jumbo
like
jack.
the Big Jack, a Jumbo Jack, yeah, whatever it was called. So they have a very particular flavor. It's a very plain burger. It's very, very literally like a plain burger, pretty much. But it has a very specific taste, and you're like, oh, it brings you back, right? Like taste and smell are very nostalgic senses. So anyway, every once in a while you get a craving for those garbage tacos. I know what you mean. Even though it's not, it's probably technically food, but yeah, it's not very
Yeah,
valid. Yeah.
yeah.
So what I
Those
just
might be the first fast food tacos
so what I just
Really?
at
showed
Jack in the
was
Box.
Taco Bell. What I just showed was Taco Bell there.
Taco
It's
Bell started as a
Um,
hot dog stand. I don't
36.
remember how it transitioned, but can you imagine that it started as a hot dog stand and then
No,
turns into Taco Bell?
I wish it didn't. The
Oh, and the
worst.
dude's name was Bell, apparently. I think his name was actually
No,
Bell.
I know a lot about when we ran a fruit stand. We were lucky enough that Bell Gardens sold us their excess fruits and vegetables. It was in Valley Center, and Bell Gardens, like the name, was owned by the son of the guy who invented Taco Bell. And
That's
it
funny.
and it was this organic, like before organic, this is 20 years ago. It was this beautiful farm, and they had this little train, and mainly it was a nonprofit where schools would send field trips and they'd educate the kids on, oh, well, here's a little patch of corn, here's this. And they also had animals and this thing. It was called Bell Gardens. And
Here, I got
and he was old, and there were stories of his actual involvement in building out this place. And I used to think, wow, that's crazy. This guy's into all this organic uh, fruits, vegetables. Uh, he grew so many different things there. All of his stuff was super quality.
they sold stuff there too. They had their gifts area. It was like I don't know, people used to come there. Like
I got a question about
it got
cannabis.
sold and they developed it into houses after so many years.
Well,
But
yeah.
if you research the guy, forget his first name. Yeah, the guy that owned fucking and made all the billions from Taco Bell, even though I think it was sold or whatever, they didn't really run it as a family business anymore. But he was like a billionaire. He was super into organic foods and gardening, like really into it, like way
I got a
before
question
anybody
for you,
was like that.
guys.
Go for a smash.
When you guys mix up silica in your water, how long do you let it sit before you like put anything else in it?
Oh, not that long.
I usually
You're
do like
talking about like the
5 minutes.
vitalized kind of thing, the potassium silicate or whatever the fuck.
I'm using
If you put it in at the end, it'll start to emulsify your shit. So if you wanted to emulsify your shit, then that would be one way to do it. That's actually one thing that people do with the fuck's that shit called?
You can use it with neem as
Fuck,
the
what's the
emulsifier.
potassium silicate powder called when you buy it? It's
yeah, it's this is derived from potassium
I can't
silicate.
fucking think of the name. But when you buy it in the pure so because basically kosher nutrients, nice guy and everything, but he's basically buying it at the agricultural quantity and then dissolving it in water.
Yeah.
What is it fucking called when you buy it at the store? I can't remember the name. Anyway, regardless, you buy it for 20-25 bucks a pound. That's how much, and it makes, I don't even know how many gallons. So it's a
That's kosher.
hilariously more expensive, more
Exo.
inexpensive. Ag
I
Sil
use
20, that's what it is.
silica
Thank you.
and I
Excel
usually
16.
put it
There we
in
go.
first, and even though I'm usually adding things as the water's filling up 50 gallons, I usually put the silica and let at least 25 gallons and it mix up before I add anything else. Because yeah, silica, yep, I don't know all the chemistry things, but I just feel safer doing it that way where it's blended in the water. Uh, yeah, you
You
definitely don't want to like make a nutrient solution and then put silica in at the end. And that
Well, it'll
it actually
precipitate.
is that way.
Hey, what's going on, St. Bernards? Look at that.
know, you
Actually,
guys.
at in my current recipe, we are RO water and we make, I guess it's 50-gallon barrel. It's under 5.5, 5.2, 5.1 is the RO with the nutrients in it. So yeah, we use like a cup, usually like a cup of just Armor SI, not Power SI, not the expensive silica, the old gallon of just silica, whatever that is. But we don't use pH down or up. We do it with silica. Like that's actually how we adjust the pH. And then with that added in, which I put it in at the beginning, then the pH comes in at like 6.2, 6.3. And that's where we run. Because with I didn't in my other place, I use tap water. So I had the opposite of like RO water. Like this water will go down. So like if we started at 6.2,
Kind of like your mama.
a couple days later it'll be down at 5.8. Where on tap water, if you started at 5.8, a couple days later it'll be up at 6.2. But yeah, we use silica as the buffer for the pH.
I got a question now. Does anybody use add oxygen like using a little fish pump in a stone
Yeah,
when they mix the nutrients, or even before just watering?
yeah.
That's what I
Because
do.
my reservoirs are water like once or twice a day, and they're 50 gallons. So then that's important to keep the water. If like right now I have like 8 reservoirs. One of them, it stopped working. It's not doing it. So then
Uh-oh.
if I come in the daytime, the water sat in the reservoir not being circulated, there will be like a little
Skunk.
film or like,
Yeah.
oh, and they add that too, and it won't hold good for like 4 or 5 days. think we fixed it yesterday, but yeah.
You know,
I don't use silica lately. I don't really use too many additives. I use fish hydrolysate, but that's it. Basically, that's all I do. Barley. I put barley on there. Although I don't even grind the barley anymore. Every once in a while I will, but it's better when you just let it break down by itself. It breaks down pretty quick, honestly. Like I don't know. I used to think it took maybe 3 or 4 months. It really depends. It can break down in as little as a couple 3 weeks. If the soil is obviously not too wet. If it is too wet, it'll fucking break down like
So
crazy too. But that's bad too. Go ahead.
if I'm putting 3 cups of barley, I grind one, leave 2 whole.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. How fine do you grind it?
Pretty fine.
Hmm.
Like a
I
coffee
grind.
grinder fine.
I got you.
That's why they call me Mr. Coffee, because I grind so fine. Yeah.
I just put some
That's
of
a good
the
idea.
bacillus in here. Miranda Family Farms gave me this stuff.
Microbes.
Oh yeah, I've used them. Actually, they're supposed to be legit. There's very
I
few
miss
of those microbe companies that are supposed to be legit, but the Armory, I think, is the company or whatever. Supposedly they make decent shit. So I don't know that I saw a big difference, honestly. It's the same thing with Mammoth P and stuff. If you actually have like a halfway living soil, you don't even have to be like a soil Yoda or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's like just basically alive and green and stuff, you don't really need those microbes anymore because you have more sophisticated microbes. Speaking of people that know this, St. Bernard's is basically people guys have been screaming this for years now, talking about how if you're going to buy any of those products, you want to buy the most concentrated ones possible. B, you're better off basically with living soil anyway, or worm castings, shit like that. But for people who don't have any kind of living soil and stuff, then bags of microbes like that are fairly effective. And for what it's worth, I think that over the years, when people basically would test it, would be more effective than Mammoth P. Don't quote me on this because I don't remember if anyone did any side to sides actually, but anyway.
Miranda Family Farms shout out gave me them, and he gave me 2 different ones.
That's cool. Oh yeah, that
Uh,
company makes a couple different ones. I can't remember the names for
I
the
just
life of
add
me.
them. I mean, I just flipped into flour. I was like, fuck it. We'll add some silica and some lacto or some bacillus strains.
I mean, for what it's worth, there's a million ways to garden, but I don't say fuck it anymore, honestly, with that kind of stuff. Like, put it this way, I'll say fuck it and remove something, but I won't say fuck it and add something because it's just like I don't really see the point of adding things. Maybe partly because people like St. Bernard's were in the chat saying like you really don't need to add these things, they don't do anything, on and on and on. I don't know. What do you guys feel like? Do you guys still, I mean, Bud
I,
Kilowatt's still obviously running synthetic. What about the rest of you?
when I grew outdoors last year, the last year, yeah, I didn't use anything. I used I used worm castings and I used my soil from last year, and then I just used regular water the whole season. I didn't add no nutrients or nothing. The plant
So
came
I am
back.
actually spreading. I got
Yeah,
some.
in my indoor when we're in Rockwell production, okay, yeah, I guess you call it synthetic, and that's that. But I grow outdoor every year, and then have soil, and for the most part, built up a good soil 3, 4 years ago. Maybe I amended it the first year because I was gung ho, but then since then I had a little worm castings that I make. I have my own little worm farm, and it doesn't make that much, but and that's it. And just have watered, and the plants are like go great. And then I guess it's no till because now there's been like 4 years in those beds. The I would cut the root plant out and then just leave the root ball and then plant like a foot next to it. And um, yeah, it could probably use like a refresh, like where you I dug it all out, but it's 4x8 fabric beds full.
But you
I'm
probably
pretty sure
compost all your
if I
scraps
was
and all
to
your
like
leaves,
do
bud,
that,
right?
I'd just buy new fabric and then like build a fresh one. But I still think you could get a few more years out of it. But like, yeah, I'm having to plant this year. I'll be planting like right on top of where there's other root balls from the previous years.
Compost and castings are my amendments.
There's worms in the bed too, and they're still
Right,
alive.
once you get rolling and you start composting all your scraps and all your other girls or whatever, look at what you're adding to the top, back to those beds. It's
These
everything
last
that plant's looking for.
3 or 4
You're
years,
rubbing from here and there. You can get a lot of good time out of some beds once you get them going. You don't really have to do a lot of amending, just like you're saying, worm castings and
yeah.
a few
And there
things
were
here
times
and there.
that the plants
You're on
were
like a
like
foliar schedule more than anything.
I do
Mom,
foliar.
from the indoor place that was
Any
fighting
deficiency?
thrips or fighting powdery mildew, or even way 4 years ago, there was some spider mite. And then when I'd moved those plants that pretty much were infected, they were moms from the indoor outside. I wouldn't treat them at all, nothing. I just water and they'd get healthy in the sun and get in rhythm with the outdoor environment. Yeah, none of those problems. Like I remember the one, like,
If you
oh,
treat
it had a
them,
few leaves that had
Mother
powdery
Nature's not
mildew
going to
on
be
them.
able to know they're there.
But
You know,
once it got
I'm a firm
outside,
believer. Stick it out there all fucked up and let Mother Nature work out the fuck up before I try to put anything on it or try to spray it down or do anything. I'd rather try to bring some beneficials in that are going to help me.
yeah, and I
That's last
don't
resort.
necessarily think it was beneficial, maybe a little, but I just think that the full sun and the temperature of that and the effects of that, and then the nighttime temperature would be cool, not so
And being
conducive
able to be so much
for
healthier.
bugs or any of that. I would always have to use BT like as a couple times during the cycle, or otherwise that I'd find that there'd be a couple of those worm caterpillar, like moth caterpillars that would always be like the best looking bud right toward the
Right,
end. It
yeah, no,
started to
always
look
the
a
way.
little
Or the
weird,
second,
and then
depending
Gray
on or
BT in the
something.
evenings.
Yeah.
The worms come out at night anyway.
I bone it for fucking 8 weeks, and then you cut it off, and you're like, motherfucker, dude.
well,
Wait for the
I'm
pollinators to go
friends
to
with
bed.
Matthew Gates lives around here, and I used to talk to him a lot more than I do now. But like what he said about BT, which he knows a lot.
Yeah, he's a smart cat.
Yeah, it's really only active to the it's not at that point, it's a larvae that you're trying to kill. The microbially, the sun, after a couple days of that after you spray a plant, the sun makes that stuff ineffective. So it's really like, oh, you do have to spray it at the right time to get the most effect out of it. It's not like, oh, you spray it once and now it's protected for a long period of time. According to him, the spray, the BT spray, and the effective BT in it is affected by the UV or the sun, and then after a day or so of full sun, it
Breaks it down.
yeah, it breaks down, and so but yeah, I'd usually only spray 2 or 3 times. Like I try to do it early enough that I wouldn't have to do it like right toward the end and in my area, yeah, there's like this month or two when whatever those moths are uh, um, laying larvae, laying and that process takes like month or whatever before it becomes a worm, a caterpillar or whatever. But those things will
You know that sound when you add water and it like you can hear it like dribbling through the pots?
They were thirsty, huh?
No, I'm not that bad.
You know what though? I've never lost a crop to worms. I lose, I figure you give 10 to 20% back anyway. So
It does turn out like that. Like, as you got a choice. You can spray the piss out of it with some sort of chemicals, and yeah, you'll eventually keep every fucking thing off it. Or you work with Mother Nature, and you got to give a little bit back. It's just the way it is, and giving it back isn't a bad thing because you're
no,
recomposting it, putting it back onto the plant, going back into next year's setup. It's saving you from having to like do certain amendments and stuff. It's feeding you worms, whatever. Like, there's so many better benefits. Like, yeah,
We are
it's
looking
just the way
for
it is.
balls. Ooh, ooh, that's a female.
So she said.
Wow, this one might be a female too.
Come here, boy. Let
That's,
me check you.
all four of these are female? That would be crazy. Anyways,
excuse me.
Yeah, I always think with my outdoor crop, if I only lose like less than 20%, more like less than 10% to either like bud rot or just outdoor conditions, like we're indoor, no, most of the time
You
you
shouldn't lose
know,
any indoor.
yeah, you don't lose any. I mean, sometimes there's issues, rarely, but if you do everything right and work, you don't lose any. Outdoor, even if you do everything you can, there's a little bit that
Yep.
becomes part of but things grow so much bigger and all that
The way the
outdoor. There's no
conditions are in.
comparison. Part of that loss is that the thing grew so
female.
big
I
and
don't know what this one is. It looks like a male, kind of, but I don't know yet. Come on. It should show within the next day or two. It should fucking be showing. Like,
You have a little pocket magnifying glass smashed?
yeah, I didn't grab it.
I swear by I have a super old one. I think it's actually
They're
from the
looking
Soviet
good though.
Union or something. But oh, it's so fucking handy.
So this one's a girl because I can see it starting to flower.
It's
There's a
definitely
really good
fertile.
app too. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Depending on your phone, the magnifying feature on the like when you tap it, well, I guess you can set it up different ways. But anyway, like
Yeah.
iPhone has a pretty nice magnifier.
That's a
So yeah,
girl.
but there's an app I have. I have an app
Hmm.
actually on my phone. It's really good.
Is
It
this a
has a
fucking
light.
girl? Oh my god, it is. The biggest one out of this one's a girl.
Nice.
What's
Sweet.
this one then? I think this might be the male. Dude, I got a
Besides that,
lot of girls for regular seeds.
Hmm.
right on.
All this, that's feminized, that's feminized, that's feminized, that's feminized. It looks like this is a this is the unknown. I think it's a girl. And then I just
Sure.
verified pistols on all four of these. So I'm gonna come in here, spread them out a little bit more to try to give out.
now you're gonna call these that you think are male in veg, like you're so sure that they're males and females, you're not even gonna
I'm in
wait till you
flower.
split them.
This
Okay.
Because
one grows
even
different.
ones that
Look,
might look like they're pre-flowering female, oh, until you get them a week into 12 and 12, you don't always know. That's just my experience.
no,
Some
you can see
genetics
if
are
you
pretty
get down and look,
straightforward,
you
but
can see.
other ones aren't. I've never tried to sex them until like 7 to
Like
10
this
days
one, you
into
can see the
flower.
pistils.
Sometimes 3 or 4 days into flower, oh, you can kind of tell for sure. But then I still wait another day. Like I'm always like,
Yeah.
you have to show me for sure. Then I'll cut you down.
That was the app. That's what I use.
Yeah, we're gonna pull this out a little bit, and we're
You
gonna
said?
turn it like this.
Oh gosh, I can't remember what technique it was or who came up with it. I think it was like a Skunk Man Sam thing that I heard back in the day, where you take like any fat leaf kind of indica type, and if you put it into the dark for 24 hours, something
You
like
said that
that.
on Hash Church one day, yeah.
Oh, is that what it? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, Fumi? I tried it and it worked the time I did it. Um, I don't know why
I
I didn't
did the
keep up on
way
it, but
where I took my little measuring cup and put water in it, and then took cuts. Well, the plant was in veg, and then just put that in water. Didn't try to put them in rock wool or root them in the flowering room.
oh
And
yeah, I've done that.
like 2 or 3 days later, yeah, I could see that they were
But
now,
this is taking the whole plant.
even though I made like uncovery a little bit there, just because it was the first time and I wasn't like that confident, I still waited to call and make the final decision until I like took the plant and put it in a 12 and 12 environment and waited a few days, a week, and then made the final decision. Now, sometimes by being like that is how I've accidentally seeded my room. Like sometimes I should have just been more like careful, like, oh, anything that even looks like resembles, might be, could be a male, just get rid of right away. But like I always like, even sometimes when certain one is obviously a male, I'm hoping that the next day I'll come look at it and it will actually be a female.
Big cheers to everybody in chat. Hope everybody's having a great day. Great day. There's 34
Like,
people in chat. Cheers to all you people lurking in the background, smoking a joint, doing some work.
I
Smoking a
think I
big one.
might have even been on here when I did
Cheers,
it.
chat.
I had to call like 15, they weren't males, they were mom stock that had outplayed their life. But sometimes I would, because I didn't like to kill plants, I would take them and just put them outside. But this year I don't have a setup for that. So I had to cull them, cut them up, put them in bags to throw away. Yeah, that like even though they had served their purpose and it bore all these clones, probably 100 each plant over the months, I felt bad cutting them up. Like it's a plant, it's life. Like it's not easy to kill a
I
plant.
know it's not natural. Yeah.
Even my partner, he doesn't do what I did. They were still alive. I cut them and bagged them. He'll just put them out in the workspace of the warehouse where there's no light, there's no, and then like a couple days late, usually by the time we cut them and throw them, they wilted and died. But he doesn't actually take the live plant and like chop it down. That's like even worse. That's like a slow death. That if something has to die, like just like if it was an animal, you would take it out of its misery. Like I'm realizing, yeah, by just putting a plant, like a group of plants that have outdone their thing out in the warehouse and let them just die over 3, 4, 5 days. Because like what's weird is, oh, they'll all dry out, and then usually the biggest ones will wilt and die first. But then there's always one plant in there that like the rest of them all died, but it's still alive. It like somehow with the little
Right.
bit of moisture that it still had managed to still be alive. And then you're like, fuck, that one really wants to live. And some
Damn,
genetics
yo.
are different. Some genetics will get die right away. Will other ones, yeah, they can hang on for a while, like totally dry.
Give me a friggin' big sword knife. I have no problem telling the bitches.
Dude, they're
Well,
going off in
even
chat. This new
like
Jason Line dude.
sometimes by
What up?
not
Kick.
cleaning up those and leaving them in the space longer than they need to be, like, yeah, now that we got rid of those, and then what were called the medium moms, that was our nickname. They were the new moms that I already topped them like a foot and a half. I cut off
Oh, lucky.
and keeping them all cleaned up, and now they have the right amount of space. Yeah, managing moms and is I've decided to be more proactive about it and not sometimes you like you already have many of the offspring, so but you're still keeping it just in case. I don't know if that you understand what I mean. Like you hold on to moms, you already have plants and maybe even 2 generations of plants, but you're still holding on to this mom just in case.
Everything's looking good. I just tied this down, tied this one down a little bit. Try to get some more growth in there.
Whipped veins. Handcuffs.
I got a little runt right here that I'm just letting survive. I might move this one over a little bit, but this one is a female, I'm pretty sure. So, pretty happy. Just got into flower. I think I'm a week
Is Hardcore alive?
He's near the bottom there.
I know he hasn't said a peep.
in.
Might be working.
I'm under. People don't know.
Working.
It's a
That's
315
probably
seed
what it
mate.
is, J5, yeah.
This
Yep.
is a HLG 600.
Yo, chat's going off. Jason Line might be my new favorite chatter there, Cake. You gotta step up your game, bro.
Wait, what? Come on.
I'm telling Cake his throne is being threatened right now by Jason Line.
Oh, snap.
Yep. Cake's my favorite chatter, FYI.
You were my favorite chatter until you crossed over to being a participant.
Ah, well,
Favorite.
thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
In J5
Oh, my
last night, I was listening, but I was burnt out, so I didn't come on.
Oh.
J5 is the only guy. He texted me. Didn't see you last night. Everything okay? I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
I
I
guess
brought
that's
you up.
like
I brought you up during the show.
people.
I asked if anybody had seen you.
Yeah, well, one time I was just burnt out. I was in chat. I fucking let it be known I
I do
was
that sometimes
alive.
too.
Fuck. I just was burnt.
I lay back in the cut every now and again.
Yeah. No, yesterday my
Now
back was hurt from the night before where I spent really only like 2 hours bent over on a 4x8 tray, defoliating all the sucker branches under the trellis or under the canopy. So 2 trays, about an hour in each one, but no way to be in there without bending over and somewhat, especially for a 60-year-old guy, awkward position. where, okay, I did it and then went to sleep. And then yesterday I was like, oh, fuck, my back is fucked up. Yeah, if I'm being bent over in some cockamamie position, de-leafing these plants.
Heard a lot of people couldn't. No, never mind.
Yeah, that's the thing about outdoor. De-leafing and stuff like that goes from like a chore indoor and a backache to like sitting on a bucket, chilling, smoking joints. You know, that's what I love about the outdoors, the space and you can move around. You're not constricted. You're not hunched over. You're not.
Oh, you left. Hardcore has left the building.
Uh-oh. I scared him away.
No.
It's okay, hardcore. You can come back. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty happy with how things came together in this room.
Oh, your
Looks
room
good,
looks
man.
great.
No,
And now it's just a matter of time till you finish your first crop in it, which I'm sure is gonna come out great, but like any crop is gonna have its, it's gonna throw you a couple curveballs, especially it's a new room and
Dude, I
seasons are,
predicted that
even
right
though
out the gate.
like here, we're even in our IPM regiment, we're on what we call the season change. Because we've done the same thing for a lot of years and know right here in spring, April, that's when if you're not on your
oh my
regimen,
God.
some of these ailments can pop out because it's spring. That's when they're active. Powdery mildew, thrips, all of them. So yeah, we have a calendar from last year. We just go back to that. Like basically 3 to 4 days spray regimen of like
Oh yeah.
different stuff. IPM from Athena, which is just a mix. Lost Coast, sometimes that stuff's kind of oily and don't like it so much. And then Nukem, that's like a citric acid thing from, and then
Dude, this is
also
one of my
just Monterey oil, like a regiment. Like, what do you
it's
say?
one of my favorite
You
sprayers.
look at the list and you pick out whatever you didn't spray last time, then you spray next something different.
Smash, you know what you need? It would make your garden perfect.
But
What?
Muted myself. Damn it. You need some trendy graffiti and a DJ spinning tracks in the corner.
I was thinking of doing like graffiti. I should have did it before I put plants in here.
Do your graffiti art?
Wouldn't that be
Yeah, like
sick?
That'd be
Just
something
cool.
like I
remember
did on your
that
on your
white
envelope.
walls reflect the light way better than anything else. So you don't want to take away from that.
Just make it from
Flat
reflective
white.
paint. That's it. You just have to
Yeah.
do like silver graffiti.
UV. Use of a black light.
That's it. Just make up for it in disco balls.
Well, no, I could do it like up on the top over here. You know what I
You got
mean?
that sealed up good, huh?
So wait, do disco balls count as light movers?
It would be cool to actually put a light mover right here and just have it go like 4 feet right here.
Yeah, let's bring back flash. It's like a flashback.
Yeah.
God, you got those movers. Everything you do to save a electric.
One thing about, even if you're only having the light mover move a couple feet, it gives, well, LED's different because of the layout of the diodes, but like on regular lighting, it gives different perspective. Like, instead of just the bulb right here so even the backside of like certain plants, yeah, the light will go from the front side of the bud all the way over to the back side of the bud.
You know what?
It's got to stiffen and strengthen the plant up a bunch too, because the plant's going to try to follow that pattern of the light.
We
So I
have,
mean, I don't see
just
where it
because
wouldn't be
it was
beneficial to
already in
have a light
place,
mover.
we
You could
took a
afford one.
720 LED and put it on in the room with the double endeds, but put it on a light mover. So it does a tray and a half. So it does 4x8
Right, it'll
and a
get twice
little
the
bit
distance
of
out
the other
too, yeah, for sure.
4x8. And we narrowed the movement. It didn't need to move near as much as the double-ended bulb. So it's on a whatever light bar mover, but it only moves like 2 feet. Moves 2 feet, 2 feet. But yeah, even where it moves, it's not like those plants aren't getting any light. They're just getting light from a different perspective. I think light moves are a good thing. They kind of fell out of fad, but
No, and then when you're running plants tight like that too, together, like the light, like you're saying, from different angles and stuff is penetrating down onto a bunch of that lower section. I mean, it's got to be beneficial, like so much for the plant, like
yeah,
strengthening it, picking up the lower sections, like spots that are shed. When that light's just coming from one angle for 12 hours, fucking, there's leaves that are shadowed all day long. With that light mover,
exactly.
they're not anymore. So, like,
No,
I think I've seen them for like around $100 and stuff. And that might be like
yeah, the same company, Light a Rail or whatever, and it's basic, simple
Monorail.
tech. There's been some other things over the years. A lot of one thing, some of those were more complicated, and then they didn't really have longevity. Where the light rail, even it has issues where the rubber wheel, after years of going back and forth,
right.
the motor needs to be replaced. But oh no, those things can run for years and years and years. And yeah, I don't. Most hydro stores don't even stock them anymore. You'd have to order them. It's still a product, but no one uses them anymore. You can, like I say, I have one of those light rail bars with a 720 LED panel. So, but because the weight is even, yeah, it's on a mover. It seems to. Hey, that room is done in the next less than 10 days, and the plants underneath the LEDs seem to have come out pretty damn good. We'll have to see when we get it all done. A little bit different, but that tray has like a mixture of all these other new strains that we haven't grown before. So it's not like we have any baseline to judge. There's Larry under there, I-95, Kush Mint. I don't know.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Mike, check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Am I on the screen?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We hear you,
5
buddy.
by 5.
All right.
Something.
So outdoors, I gotta get ready for outdoors soon. I'm only putting ChemDog across the chemo out there. But I'm gonna pop more of my papaya rum cake and more of the apple fritter chemo, or apple fritter chemo. I have a wedding cake across the Cindy 99, across the Cindy cake, going right now in the little tent. I got another Wilson Otter Pop. If you do grow the Wilson Otter Pop, I will tell you that it doesn't like to be trained really. So, like, it was actually, I actually just kind of left her alone after I bent her over and she didn't stay.
Kinky.
It's like
So I left her alone but everything else is doing good. I have a critical Kush, dude. I had 5 or 4 seeds left of it, and only one of them popped. I didn't have good luck with the Larry Legend strawberry apricot either.
Larry.
I only got 1 out of those. Should I dab OG Kush or Lemon Haze?
Half a dab of each.
Both. One of each.
Did you ever try these
I like
bendy
these
things
thinking.
that I pulled up?
I like the mix. And lemon
Like
and OG
background.
smell good together.
Yo, they have these carts that have 2 grams in them, and you can switch between the 2 grams, smoke either one by itself, or you can put it on dual mode and hit them both at the same time.
Only a matter of time before they came out with that.
Kids and their toys.
Yeah.
I want one. I just think it's cool. Like, you get 2 grams, and you can smoke. I mean, I probably go through them faster because I'm the type to smoke both grams at once.
Yeah. How could you not? That's what you'd want to do, right?
Look at Buddy.
Otherwise, you just buy 2 different cards.
That looks tasty.
These dogs going crazy for
Yeah.
some hash.
A baller jar too. What is that? 3 grams?
Fuck, more than that.
Yeah, this is
maybe.
3 grams.
But that's a fucking half-ounce jar.
Yeah, this is 3. This is an 1/8 right here.
Oh, right on.
Still one
Yeah,
of
good
these
point.
little black ones to the brim is 5
That's
grams.
Oh, no shit. Damn.
You
Kill
get
me
5.
syrup, Midwest.
Well, my friend that works or lives in Humboldt, and they have a really nice mixed light greenhouse operation, and they process everything to
That's where
rosin.
it's at.
Well, they sent me a month or so ago some samples, jars of like 5 different flavors. They were all impeccable quality as far as, you know, they were really good. And then it was Fatso OG. There was 7 Sins, which is a lineage of Fatso. And then there's Cherry Do-si-do. And there's one other. And then there was Gush Mints. And like I had 5 grams of each one, and each day I'd smoke this one, or the next day I'd try that one, and back to this one for a couple of months. Yeah, I really impeccable. Like I wouldn't know how to choose. Like they all taste great, but
is that a body being thought now?
The Gushman.
No, it's hardcore, just drilling, kind of like he likes to drill your mama.
Gushman for sure was just like you take one dab of that and you're fucking stoned. And then I was like, all right, you have more of the Gushman? Yeah. And even though I've just rolled a couple Bubba Kush joints for my afternoon, and I still smoke weed for the last couple weeks or maybe even longer. Oh no, I've been pretty much dabbing. Like I don't have a rig at the shop, so most days I'll dab a few dabs and then go to work. Take about 15 minutes to get there. I'll be so stoned. I won't even think about getting stoned for an hour or so. But when I come home 4 or 5 hours later, I'm driving going, I can't wait to get home and get it back to the dab rig. Even though I'm like smoking a joint and smoke weed, smoke flower. I'm like, yeah, there's a certain impact that you get from dabbing. No question.
You know what? Gushers is quickly becoming one of those cuts that anything that touches it becomes fucking better. There's so much shit that has that fucking gushers in it that's fire.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do my new rig.
One of those. Larry OG's sort of forgotten, but Larry sparked a lot of genetics, came out of that line, and
Otter Pops animal mints to gelato, which I love animal mints.
Yeah, me
gelato
too.
is, yeah, it's sort of overplayed at the moment, but
Not for me.
um,
Just saying.
gelato definitely has all of its reasons it got overplayed. I mean, that's just like it seems cannabis does that. Like certain genetics come into the circle and a couple of them end up just being
It's not bad weed. It's just like you say, got overplayed, and the other thing is that the genetics are honestly not that strong. So anything you breed into it just becomes kind of more gelato. I guess the other way to look at it is the genetics are super strong. I don't know, but it's basically, I think, very recessive. So it wasn't super well selected, I think, on the process of, they weren't looking for long-term viability. I think they were just looking for a cash crop that did really well, and they fucking found one. And so sure
I
enough,
remember
you can't complain about the weed, honestly, and it
when
even
I
grows
was
okay.
growing gelato and all this, Gelato 41, that was the one. Gelato 41. Even though back then there was these other gelatos, the other numbers. Now, oh no, Gelato 41, no one's, it's Gelato 33 or it's Gelato 45 or it's Gelato this. No.
41 was always my favorite to smoke.
Yeah,
I like those Gary crosses though.
The Mike
Or that-
Connor.
yeah, it's good. I don't think it needed to be a predominant thing. And it isn't really predominant when it comes to individuals, but when it comes to like packs nationally, gelato is a big part of the market.
You guys see the world record blueberry got broken recently?
No.
It was like, it looked like a plum.
Yeah, I want it.
Was it just one blueberry to rule
Yeah.
them all on the plant, or did the plant have all blueberries like
I
that?
don't know. Here, I'll look it up for us. Massachusetts
Willy Wonka, you think?
World.
It's like
Blueberries.
it might have looked really cool being that big and taste.
What's that, bud?
20 grams.
It probably tastes like shit.
Blueberry that big probably didn't taste very.
Yeah, probably super mealy and garbage, but you never know. What if it's the best blueberry in the world?
So
I bet my blueberry is bigger than your blueberry. Holy
So I was
shit.
trying to
It beats
I was
the
trying to
old
know,
record for heaviest by 4 grams.
oh,
Are we
crap.
sure they didn't inject that with silicone?
Yeah.
Looks like a butt. It looks like cacti or something.
That's crazy.
I think it was
That's how they make those.
organic.
Like, when they do the large pumpkins,
I bet they gave
stuff,
it CalMag.
they mainline fucking lactobacillus into them. And
You know what they use? They use that
like other
megaphos. That's what they use.
They just put a bunch of kelp in the bitch.
That's it.
I bet you
That's
it's
the secret right there.
radioactive material. Just like in the
I'm telling you, it's the PGRs. They get
They
like
put a
the
line
premium
right,
kelp.
right in the
Just a little bit of
right in the
plutonium.
stalk and actually
Little bit.
mainline like stuff right into the pumpkins to get them to grow that big and do
Yeah,
that.
that's shooting powders and shit. That shit's wild.
Hmm.
Straight up steroids. Dude,
Yeah,
like
it's-
fucking
you know,
Literally
how
injected
healthy-
into the plant. So they literally
Yeah,
like oh my
all the
god, that's
nutrients it needs,
ridiculous.
instead of
Holy
feeding
shit.
it through the roots, they're feeding it directly
Straight up Barry Bonds style.
right into the main.
I guess that makes sense because I mean, holy shit, how much steroid would you have to pour into the soil for the plant to be able to soak it up? So like you probably would just go broke. Wow, that's incredible. So then
And then
the plant
there's,
has like track
something to
marks
do-
like a junkie.
Then there's a little trick to it. Something to do, I think, with the lactobacillus too, is like the main focus when they do that. I think you'd have to look into it exactly. I don't remember, but
That would make sense. Because it's like calcium based and it'd be like, I don't know. Huh.
What's happening?
yeah, that's how they do that. That's not just some guy out there with a garden hose and
Holy
really
shit.
good at gardening and stuff.
They're up
there's
to a
a trick
full ton now, aren't they? like 2,000 pound
Yeah,
pumpkins.
yeah. I want to say like 3,000 now.
That's
It
fucking
probably
crazy.
tastes like shit. Like whoever said
Oh
that.
yeah, I think they say you can't
Right.
eat them. Yeah.
You could live in the fucker.
In fact, most
you
people
could.
don't really eat. Well, that's not true. People eat pumpkin, but most
And they
people, when you think of
Fucking
pumpkin pie, you're
Kurkowski could
mostly
make a house
thinking of
out
like
that bitch.
sweet. What is it?
they do those
Sweet
races on that
squash. I can't remember what it
river
is.
there where you hollow out
Kurkowski.
and stuff. They hollow out the big pumpkins and fucking float them down the rivers and stuff in them with a paddle and everything. I can't think of the name
Oh
of that.
yeah, there's
either.
a contest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Talk about a duck race. Fuck that.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
pumpkin,
much
bro.
what it is, but the pumpkin race.
Do this shit right here.
All right, it's getting late. I gotta get out of
I
here.
was just gonna say, I wonder how long we're gonna go here. Before you
Yeah,
go,
you're
Smash,
bored
take
and
a
you only
look at
got
this
pumpkins around.
gigantic
What else you gonna do?
behemoth of a pumpkin. It's 1,246 kilograms.
Holy fuck.
AKA how many pounds? 2,702 pounds, 13.9 ounces. Grown by, dude, grown in Italy. Holy shit! Apparently they have
Hey,
pumpkin
hibbity-bibbity.
festivals in Italy too. That's
Wait, go back down. The record.
Hang on.
Record was confirmed by the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth. They have a Commonwealth.
Harry Potter must run it.
Well, you don't? Come on. What?
Make $1.
Travis,
Do you even take your pumpkins seriously, bro?
Do you even
The answer
pumpkin,
is
bro?
no. Do you even pumpkin, bro? That's it.
You know, there's a
That's what you do.
website where you can buy all those crazy, like big.
They're almost
big-
as expensive as cannabis seeds. Yeah, some of them actually are more
We do.
expensive than cannabis seeds. Yeah.
Our town does a local turnip festival. We're famous
I'm
for
getting turned
Turn
up
up
right
to
now.
the local turn up festival.
and they grow the biggest turnips and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a big huge history.
We turn
to
it up.
something about the turnip that came from here or something special or is the biggest one or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff to it, but
All right, guys, be safe.
go
Have a
down
good
Later,
day.
Smash.
I
It is
fast
not-
take chances.
2 turnips in heat. Have the turnip.
Yeah, gill feather turnip. They're famous there. I got my seeds for this year. I'm gonna participate this year.
It's a competition called 2 turnips, 1 cup. Oh my god, no. Midwest Outlaw says should have the Wow Wallace guy on female. What's his name? Ron Wallace. That's a good idea. We haven't had so normally I'm not into like just producers of stuff, but I feel like he would be very entertaining, honestly. And I guess people swear, well, the pumpkin people apparently swear by the Wow Wallace, so that's a good idea. I don't know if he'd come on the show, but that would be really funny if we did. Fuck, who was I thinking about the other day? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Well, shit, folks, you want to keep talking or you want to bounce? Sounds like maybe the bouncing is the plan for the day. What do you think? Yays or nays?
Yeah, got almost 6 o'clock
All
here.
right, it's time to go. Who wants to go first?
Round 2. I gotta relocate to the work spot and get some shit done.
Nice. Right on, bud.
All right.
Well, you want
I'll
to go
see
first? Go for it, bud.
Saturday, and
All right, hey, bye, everybody.
Everybody.
Later, Jeff.
Stay safe.
Bye, never. Yeah, I'm cooking, so yeah, thanks.
for it.
Yeah, see you.
Cheers, buddy.
See you, Jeff.
Later. Okay, now I
Goodbye.
can't see anybody's faces other than D, so somebody else go
Later,
next.
everybody. Peace out. Much love. Have a good night.
Nice.
Boomy.
CBT.
Interview.
I'm not
Say hi.
on camera, huh?
No.
Just your patch or whatever that shit
How do I change
is.
that?
Magic.
I don't see anything
No,
on
you're
here. I don't know
probably.
what I
What
hit.
are you? Is that your background? That must be your background. So I don't know. Do you have your camera covered or I don't know?
No.
Do you have your camera off or
I don't know how
go
to turn
to
it
go
on
to
or off.
video settings and you're on your phone or what?
Yeah.
Go to the phone or go to video settings, the little pop-up thing, and see which camera's on. Does it even say camera
Start
on?
video? No. Oh, more probably. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Later,
Okie
everyone.
dokie. Later.
Later.
Go for it. Hardcore. Are you still there?
Yep. See you guys later.
Everybody.
Later, hardcore.
Adios. Go for it, D.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all you lurkers and people in the chat, don't forget Saturday, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, another takeover on one of the Fumidoro channels, so stay tuned.
Well,
Thanks,
will do.
Fumidor, for always doing this shit.
Welcome.
This
Easy.
stuff's crazy.
Yeah, man.
We do all appreciate it.
I
I'll say
appreciate
that
that.
for everybody.
I appreciate your appreciation. Thank you, D.
I'll see you
Or
Saturday.
rather, King D, we should call you. It's good to be the king. Thank you very much, ladies and germs. I guess that's a wrap for the show, ladies and germs. Don't forget, as Dee said, to come check us out on Saturday. We'll probably be on this channel, honestly, really just out of caution because in the past we've gotten nailed kind of on Saturdays before. So I'm gonna just kind of keep under the radar for a little bit. So we'll keep it on this channel for the moment. Maybe we'll go back to the bigger channel the week after that. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, do of course check that out. Check out D's channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. D_zombie745. Is that what it is, D?
Yes, sir.
Right on. For pre-show and more, ladies and germs. Other than that, don't forget to use the coupon code BRAINS, BRAINZ, for 14% off. That's exactly how it's, well, it's not pronounced, but that's the spirit of it. And don't forget to save a little bit of cash on genetic preservation kits. And of course, we have merchandise available, t-shirts and more. If you'd like any other kind of merch, just let me know because there's other kinds available. Gonna have hopefully some other stuff on there here soon. I'm hopefully gonna redesign this shit and all that stuff, but little by little, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, though, if you want something, request it. That always helps because otherwise I can't read your thoughts because I'm not telepathic yet. Other than that, my friends, thanks very much for hanging. We'll see each other on Saturday in a few days, and make sure to puff something wonderful. Have a great day or evening or whatever the freaking time is where you are. I don't even know. If you watch it on repeat or something, have a great repeat as well. And I guess don't forget to rewind or something if that's applicable. And until we meet again, be kind, be decent, be gentle, don't be fucking pricks, dicks, or